Good evening from Veterans Memorial Stadium at Willowbrook Park in New Britain, Connecticut. I'm Randy Brochu alongside Robin Anderson, and this is Nutmeg Television Sports presentation of Connecticut high school football. Well, the state of Connecticut weathered one hurricane this week. The question tonight is, can Bloomfield High School weather the Golden Hurricanes in the premier matchup of high school football? Bloomfield High and New Britain High, number 8 team versus the number 2 team, coming off an exciting game last season. More than 9,000 were on hand for that one. Another huge crowd expected for this one. This has become one of the greatest rivalries in high school sports.
This is the place to be in Connecticut. I can tell you, this is high school sports, 2 totally different coaches. We're going to see 2 totally different programs and how things are approached, but some incredible athletes here tonight.
Well, one of the greatest rivalries between these 2 teams is actually the 2 head coaches, New Britain's Jack Cochran and Bloomfield's Bobby Gibson. Of course, Jack Cochran coached Bloomfield High School for 8 seasons before coming to New Britain, where he won a championship in the 2001 season, his first season at the helm of the Hurricanes. He's only lost 2 games since he's gotten here, and including one that he almost lost last year. Luckily for New Britain, they were able to hold off a late second half surge from Bloomfield last season. And after the game, in the media, in the post-game interviews, he had some interesting quotes for his former colleague Bobby Gibson, saying that, quote, conditioning was the key to the game, that guys were cramping the whole game, that the Hurricanes were in much better shape, and, quote, not to put anyone down, but I never saw a Bloomfield team that far out of shape. I was really surprised, unquote. Those are fighting words.
That's Jack Cochran. He likes to pump his kids up. He likes to to push buttons. He plays on emotions. Bobby Gibson is a little bit more reserved, a little bit more relaxed. He wants to execute. He wants to keep a calming effect when everything around him might be in chaos. 2 totally different coaches and 2 totally different programs.
Robin, you say that the rivalry between the 2 guys can have a carryover effect to the players. How much of an effect can this rivalry, this disdain for each other, motivate each other's players?
Oh, I tell you, it motivates a lot. The players take after their coaches. There's no doubt about that. Jack Cochran, like I said, likes to push those buttons. Those players will be emotional on their side. That's why they got the penalties the last game. Bobby Gibson a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more reserved, as I said, and his players play under their control. His star player, Corey Sheets, examples exactly what he models, and he's got a good one.
Well, these 2 teams are coming off 2 very different games. New Britain had a good competition with Wilbur Cross in their first game of the season. They saw a good half of football, taking a 20-13 lead in a halftime. They ended up scoring 28 unanswered points in the second half and won handily. However, Bloomfield on the other side just destroyed Hartford Public. They won 72-0. New Britain coming off of a good half of competition. Bloomfield coming off a game where they really didn't have much competition at all. If you're a head coach, what would you rather have? Who is in the better shape coming into tonight? New Britain, who saw a good half of competition, or Bloomfield, who saw pretty much no competition?
Well, I'll tell you this. You want to win as a coach. You don't care how you get it. You want that first win. You want to get that momentum going. You like to get a test, to see what you got, but you want to win more importantly, and both of them got that. How you got it really doesn't matter. You got that first win.
Well, all this talk about these 2 coaches, there's a slew of pretty good players on these 2 teams, a handful of potential Division I recruitees, but one that really is in the interest of most Connecticut football fans will be tailback from Bloomfield, senior Corey Sheets, who will be playing for Randy Edsall's UConn Huskies next year. So New Britain, or rather Bloomfield, sending one of the state's own to the state's new big Division I program. He certainly has made a name for himself at the high school level. He'll hope to make a name for himself at the college level and be around the Connecticut football scene for 4 years to come. But tonight, we get a glimpse of maybe some things to come in the next 4 years at the college level.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, these 2 programs will put a lot of D1 kids in schools, and everybody, all the college coaches come here and they do this. Corey Sheets is an incredible player. I had a chance to see him in practice this week. He didn't have to be the man last year. He is this year. He wants to be that part of it, but he also wants to be part of the team. He's a team player. He is. He's their star. He's their go-to guy. I think we're going to have a great game.
He's the key to the offense. He scored 3 touchdowns on 5 carries, 188 yards last year. New Britain also has an explosive offense. They will show Andrew Maisto, a record-setting quarterback, and the new wide receiver, Nick Coligiovanno. They will have a new look on offense, and they will show it to you next on Nutmeg TV's presentation of Connecticut high school football. New Britain and Bloomfield coming up after this.
Who can turn the world on with a smile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the time, why don't you take it?
The best way out is by coming in. Going to family learning programs helps you and your family lead better lives. Call 1-877-FAMLET-1 because making it after all shouldn't just happen on TV.
Come on, David. Come on, David. Let's go, David. Come on.
Come on, David. You got the love.
Get as involved in your kids' education as in everything they do, and imagine the success they might find. Stay in touch with the teacher. Visit the school. For more tips, call 1-800-281-1.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium at Willowbrook Park in New Britain, Connecticut for the premier regular season high school football matchup of the year, New Britain and Bloomfield. And if anything, if the game tonight is anything like last year's, you're going to want to settle into your seat right away. The first 3 touchdowns of the game last year were scored in the first 59 seconds, including one on the opening kickoff. So settle in as they introduce the starting lineup of both teams, because both of these teams can fly.
Absolutely. With the speed on both sides of the ball, if you go to the bathroom or go get something to drink, you miss something. They have on Bloomfield, the Warhawks has a couple of those New England 4x100 track champion members, and New Britain has the same type of speed, so don't go anywhere.
It certainly helps when you have those track stars in the backfield. You must have loved that as a coach, having the speed like that at the tailback position. A guy like Corey Sheets last week, 5 carries, just 5 carries, an absurd 188 yards he rushed for, including 3 touchdowns. He touched the ball 5 times. He scored 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty good scoring percentage when you're 3 for 5.
As a coach, you love those kind of stats. I got to tell you, there's no substitute for speed. Everybody wants it. These two teams have it. Oh, you got to love this as a coach.
Oh, you certainly have to look at New Britain on the other side. Randy Luke is no slouch either at the tailback position. Last year, he rushed for 906 yards and 16 touchdowns. And he got about almost a quarter of the way there last week with 212 yards on 24 carries and 4 touchdowns, averaging a first down every time he can touch the ball, 10.5 yards every time he touched the ball last week.
Oh, he's serious. New Britain has a few good players. Luke is one of their main go-to guys, I have to admit, and he's an incredible back. He's a big back. He likes to run inside, but he has that speed to go outside. Don't be fooled by his size.
And this week, Bobby Gibson, Bloomfield head coach, they said all the right things this week. He says in the papers after everyone's pretty much being politically correct. He says, Jack Cochran, one of the best at the X's and O's I've ever seen, one of the best coaches at the X's and O's that I've ever seen. What he's thinking he's not going to really say in the paper, but certainly Jack Cochran always comes prepared. He always has an offensive scheme. He says he didn't really show any of the tricky stuff last week against Wilbur Cross, but Gibson says you can bet that won't be the case this week. Cochran's going to do everything. He's one of the most prepared coaches there is in high school football. You can imagine he's going to throw everything he can at this Bloomfield defense.
Oh, he is. Both of these coaches are sandbagging. They got tricks up their sleeve. Bobby Gibson knows Jack Cochran pretty well, And I have to tell you, I had a chance to watch practice this week, and I saw some of the things that were going on. Jack is well prepared. Bobby Gibson is very well prepared. I got to tell you, this is an incredible night.
They're just about set to toss the coin. Now we're in New Britain, but this is Bloomfield's home game. This is a home game for Bloomfield. They decided to play it here because Veterans holds over 11,000, and 9,000 were there last year. A similar sized crowd expected this week. They have tossed the coin. And we are just about set to go for the opening kickoff.
Bobby Gibson, as I talked to him this week, did not want to change this game, but you know, when you have this large of a crowd, things above him happen. He would have loved to have this at his stadium, playing there right behind the school, but we're here with this large crowd, and just have to make the best of it.
Well, they certainly have caravan down, and they continue to caravan down I-91 to I-84 into New Britain. As we look high atop here at the press box at Veterans Memorial, the cars still rolling into Willowbrook Park. The tailgate atmosphere outside was like a Division I. I mean, it's Saturday. It's like a college game. They looked like they were having just about as much fun here in New Britain at this high school game as they do at Rentschler Field in Yukon. Probably even a little bit more with the strict rules they have over at
Absolutely. They don't have the rules here. This is a public town facility, and the people are enjoying themselves, having a great time as we came in. People got here early. Some of my friends are here early. I'm going to have to find them by the end of the game and say hello.
They certainly look like they're having fun. It's a playoff-like atmosphere on a warm night. Doesn't feel like a playoff weather-wise, but even though it's muggy and we're feeling the effects of Isabel, this feels like a game you might be playing in November.
Absolutely. You know, with this weather here, being a little warm, it's still early. I think both teams are in pretty good shape, but it might take a toll on them towards the fourth quarter. But this is a great atmosphere. This is a championship atmosphere. This is where you want to be. The players and the coaches are going to ignore this weather, and they have great game plans, great players. It's going to be a good game.
Bloomfield just about set to kick off. Randy Luke in the backfield, undoubtedly. He will look to grab the pigskin as we are underway from Veterans. The kick is not a very good one. It goes to about the 20-yard line, fielded there by the Hurricanes. Josh Jennings, who gets a few after
That's
the
great.
kickoff, and will set up the Hurricanes at the 28-yard line.
That's great field position. You know, when you get close to the 30 like that, that's good field position. You can start off and do some things there. And I'm sure we're going to see some things from Jack right away. He likes to jump on people early. He likes to, to catch you sleeping, catch you napping. Let's see what he's got on his first play.
Well, Andrew Maystow is a record-setting quarterback for New Britain. The lefty set records for both passing and touchdown throws. He hands the ball off this time to Luke, who gets maybe 2 on the first carry of the game. So Jack Cochran elects to run Randy Luke on the opening play of the game and save Maystow. It's Maystow, by the way. I've been pronouncing it Maestro. At first I thought it was Maestro. He's like a maestro the way he conducts that offense out there.
Absolutely. That first play was just Jack seeing what they're up against. They're going to get a large dose of Luke regularly tonight.
In motion is Nate Daniel. They hand off to Luke, who gets a little bit of a hole and moves up to the 35-yard line, about 2 yards short of a first down, bringing up the first third down of the game.
With this speed on both sides of the ball, Jack decided to come out with a little counter play. Motion going one way, coming back the other way with Luke's. That's a hard thing to deal with. Most high school programs don't have that kind of speed, but on this side of the ball, both sides of the ball, they have that. They can adjust to that.
First big third down of the game. Once again, it's Daniel in motion. They're going to elect to hand the ball off. Maisto might have actually snuck that. That's the quarterback sneak, and did he get enough? They may have to bring out the measurements.
It looks close, and he did get it.
He's got a first down.
I tell you, that second surge got it for him. He's a strong kid and got his first down.
Maisto listed at 5'10", 180 is the left-handed senior quarterback.
He looked good this week in practice, I have to admit.
And he's got a new receiver in Nick Colagiovanni. A pitch to Luke. He'll bring it to the left side, gains maybe 2 or 3 yards. So fast and furious is the running game for Jack Cochran's New Britain Hurricanes. They elect not to go to Maisto, and that's something that Jack Cochran said would be a regular thing this season, that Maisto has adjusted well to his new role. He's not throwing the ball as much, but as a testament to him, said Cochran, he's adjusted to it and accepted his role. Luke's going to be the go-to guy, it appears.
Everybody knows that they're going to go to Luke's, but, Maisto, he can't throw the ball, and that Nick Cole Giovanni is a very good receiver. I've known him for a long time.
Play action, they hand off. It's to Josh Jennings. He moves up to about the 46-yard line, bringing up another third down. And this one will be a little bit too far for a sneak, it looks, about 1.5 yards short.
Jack is sort of mixing it up. He gave him a couple doses of Luke. Now he comes back with the fullback. They start keying on Luke's. They can't forget about Jennings. He's a good back also. I think Randy Etzel should be here tonight looking to pick up a few more players.
3rd and 1. They go to Jennings, who's got enough for the first down. Didn't have to get much, only needed to get about 1.5 yards, and that's about all he got, but it gives the New Britain Hurricanes 4 more downs with which to work.
Well, it looks like Jack's plan is we're going to pound you, we're going to come at you, we're not going to throw unless we have to. They believe they can march right down the field. Bobby Gibson and his crew is going to have to adjust and stop some things, but if they pull it in tight, Luke's has got the speed to go outside.
Well, 1 minute done as they pitch, and to Luke, who is brought down for a big loss by Jermaine Riles, who will celebrate as he brings Jennings down for a loss of about 6 yards. A huge loss as they pitched right, and the Bloomfield defense all over that. 2nd and 16.
That's what speed will do to you. You can cut off that outside. Jack been going inside these first few plays. Then for the first play, he tries to go outside on the sweep, but Bloomfield with that speed got there and got Luke.
Bloomfield doesn't want to let them across midfield. They didn't let Hartford across midfield once last game. Maisto rolls and gives the ball to himself. He didn't give the ball to anybody. He ran it. Gained about 10 yards, so made up for that 6-yard loss with about a 10-yard gain of his own. It'll bring up another third down with 8 minutes left, 3rd and 5. Got into some trouble, but Maisto can run also. He certainly is a good scrambling quarterback.
Absolutely. Here, he rolls to the outside. He sees the receivers are pretty well covered. He had to back out of the backfield early, but he decided to keep it, and you're right, he's a great runner. I saw him in practice this week throw the ball very well.
Well, they finally do crack midfield. They hand the ball off to Luke, who barrels his way up to the 40-yard line. Got a big hole there. So the offensive line so far doing their job for the Hurricanes.
I was wondering, after watching practice this week, I was wondering how the offensive line, both schools talked about the offensive lines were going to be the key. They were going to determine how this game was going to go, who was going to win this game. It was going to be on both offensive line shoulders. And right now, the Britons seem to be doing their part.
Well, this has certainly been a battle between a good offense and a good defense, not what we saw last year to start the game when there were 3 touchdowns in the first 59 seconds. So far, 7:19 left on the first quarter clock. Maisto at the 38-yard line, hands off to Randy Luke, who doesn't get much, maybe 1 yard or 2, bringing up a 2nd and 8.
You have to understand the way Jack Corcoran thinks. He believes last year that his players were in better shape. He's going to find out again. He's willing to work now and get ready for that 4th quarter. But don't be fooled by Bobby Gibson's crew.
Well, he certainly wasn't shy to maybe give his opinion, opine on the physical condition of Bloomfield last year. I mean, you have to look at this as kind of a shot. After the game, he says of his former colleague, quote, "I think conditioning was the key. They had guys cramping the whole game. We were in much better shape, not to put anyone down, but I never saw a Bloomfield team that far out of shape." Well, the last time you saw a Bloomfield team was when he was the coach, so I don't think these two former colleagues are on each other's Christmas card lists anymore.
Absolutely. I talked to both of them this week. They're trying to downplay what happened last year. You can't downplay that. That's Jack pushing buttons. He likes that. If he can get in your head, he thinks he's won the game. Bobby Gibson, cool, customer under fire. He's got a very good program over there, and his kids are in great shape. I saw them.
You just saw also a flag on the play. That's going to be an offsides on the defense of Bloomfield. So to Jack Cochran's Hurricanes' credit, they have not been flagged at all after 14 flags last week that cost them 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're working with a 2nd and 2 from the 32-yard line. And now another flag on the play. They hand off to Luke. It doesn't look like he has quite enough. It'll be close, but we'll have to see what the flags indicate if we're going back 5 or up 5.
Looks like we're going back 5. I think the left end for the Hurricanes moved a little early, so they're going to be going back. That's their first penalty. You know, one of the things as your coach, when you get a lot of penalties, that's because you play on emotion. Jack plays on emotion. He's emotional. His players are emotional. And when you're emotional like that, you can have a lot of penalties like they did last week and the first one now.
How frustrating is it as a coach after drawing the defense off sides to false start and lose the 5 yards that you just gained a play before?
It's very frustrating. You know, all coaches talk about execution, not making mistakes, especially when you get close to the red zone like the Hurricanes are right now. It is very frustrating, and they're going to try to correct it.
Ball's on the 36. In motion is Nate Daniel. They hand off. About a 4 or 5 yard gain for the Hurricanes on the handoff. So it will bring up another 3rd down situation, which the Hurricanes have converted now twice.
Well, I'll tell you, 4 yards a clip, you'll take that as a coach. Jack loves that. That's fine. It gives them 3rd and short right here. They can do a bunch of different things. Gives them a lot of options. Right now, they're going with everybody. Everybody's touched the ball in that backfield. Everybody's ran with it. So the Warhawks is getting a chance to see 4 good backs.
3rd and 2, when will they go to the air? They will run here. It's a handoff to Josh Jennings, the fullback who gets enough, I believe, for the 1st down.
You can't key on one player. The Warhawks have speed. The Hurricanes have speed. Right now, the difference in the game is that Hurricane offensive line.
And maybe we see the ball being handed off more to Randy Luke because a big addition to this Hurricanes lineup is also Mike McLeod, who returns from a leg injury. Cochran called it a big inspirational lift. The guys really rally around him. He spelled very good relief for Luke last year in the backfield, scoring 14 touchdowns on 481 yards and also carrying the ball pretty well every time, gaining an average of over 10 yards a carry.
When you're a double L school the size of New Britain, you have a lot of players to select from. McLeod, he's a pretty good running back himself. They're deep. They have a lot of players. Jack keeps reloading. He's got that New Britain PAL Raiders midget football program as his feeder system. He knows what's coming. He sees it, and so they have a bunch of good backs on the team and more coming up.
And you have to wonder right now if Cochran is maybe trying to lull this Bloomfield defense to sleep because he has a great weapon in the arm of Andrew Maisto. I got to get that down. He's a maestro out there the way he conducts the offense, but it's Maisto, and he's a pretty shy kid. He doesn't really like to correct anybody, but he corrected me at practice. I asked him, what's the pronunciation? He goes, Maisto. I said, everyone around town calls you Maisto. He goes, well, just shrugs it off. Everyone knows who he is, certainly, as far as a quarterback. He is an excellent quarterback and a rare talent with a left-handed quarterback. Always throws kind of a kink in the defensive scheme when you have a lefty back there.
Absolutely. I watched him in practice. He's also the holder on the next one. Here goes Luke.
Luke up the middle. He's tripped up just short of the goal line. A huge gain as they go from the 28-yard line. He gets about 20. Got a big hold from the offensive line, and now finally the Hurricanes crack that tough Bloomfield defense and are 2 yards short of the first score of the game.
That was a great call right there. A little misdirection play, and here we go. A little miss up the other back up the hole, and he turns it on. The only saving thing is shoestring tackle.
They hand the ball off again, and it's an easy touchdown for the Hurricanes. They draw first blood, scoring the first touchdown with 4:39 left. So the running game works to perfection for Cochran as they slowly bang the ball away and finally get down the field. Maisto doesn't throw one, but what a job by Luke on that drive.
Absolutely. You got a chance to see his power, his speed. This is what Jack Cochran likes to do. He likes to put the pressure on. He likes to push the buttons. He wants to be in control. He's got his ego going right now.
Chris Roberts will attempt the extra point. The snap is not a good one. Roberts has got to dive on it, and they will get only 6 on this score as the snap is fumbled. Roberts jumps on it on the 22-yard line, so no extra point for the Hurricanes.
That's going to be a tough one for Jack to handle. I'm sure when the kids come to the sideline, he's going to talk to them and straighten that out. I watched them this weekend practice. Their kicker kicking 40, 45 yarders with Maestro, holding the snap. No missed snaps at all. So I'm kind of surprised at this. We had a chance to see a pretty good kicker right there.
I know.
And
I just want to try and keep everybody off the side.
We didn't see it.
Certainly Chris Roberts has done a very commendable job as the kicker for this New Britain team. He nailed a couple of field goals last game. He missed a couple of extra points. He was 3 for 5 on extra points, but when you get snaps like that, you're not going to be able to kick the ball because that was a low snap and unable to be handled by the spotter.
Absolutely. It's a tough thing. You have the snapper has to be right on the money. The holder has got to have it there, and the timing of the kicker and everything has to be right. You got 3 people who have to be on the same page to get an extra point off, and that happens sometimes.
Marlon Thornton for Bloomfield is back along with Corey Sheets, and we will get our first look at the UConn recruit. He is Chris Roberts. Looks to kick off from his 40. 6-0 New Britain, 4:39 left. In the Cochran Bowl, I guess we could call it.
You certainly can. Jack got his wish. 2 years in a row, right at home.
Pretty good kick by Roberts to the 20. It's fielded by Stephon Lawson, who is nailed hard. A big hit by Kewan Fontaine. Nothing, just about 2 or 3 yards, but a big hit by Fontaine, keeping Bloomfield in a pretty good defensive field position for the Hurricanes.
Absolutely. I watched Jack Cochran run those special teams on Thursday's practice, and again, with all this emotion, he has those kids coming down that field really hard, making tackles, and we just saw an example of that.
Well, we see the Hurricanes offense drive for a touchdown on their first drive. Now we will see this explosive Bloomfield offense led again once again by Corey Sheets. Last game was not a terrific one as far as the passing game went, but as far as the running game went, Sheets ran for 188 yards on 5 carries, and what do you know? He's got the ball. He doesn't gain very much there as the New Britain defense tightens up. At the line, he gets about 2 or 3.
I know Coach Gibson this week, he worked on execution with his line, making sure his line knew who they were supposed to getting movement out of them. I know that they're going to be getting a lot of Sheets, just like a lot of Luke's.
And he was not as successful as you'd like your quarterback to be. 4 of 13 for 103 yards, and he did throw 2 touchdown passes. He's been the touchdown passes he's been throwing to that target for a while. His cousin, Calvin.
Absolutely. I watched him in practice, one and the same. He can throw the ball. Don't be misunderstood. He's short in stature, but he can throw the ball. I've watched him throw some nice tight spirals this week consistently. I thought he might be getting a little tired, in practice, but not at all. He can reach back and get it down the field.
Well, here we go. The first test for New Britain's defense as they will face their first third down. It's a 3rd and 2, and you would imagine this ball is going to one guy, one Corey Sheets.
If I'm on that side and I'm Bob Gibson, I'm putting it in my leader's hands.
Crowd coming a little bit more alive here at Veterans on this first third down for the New Britain defense. They do hand the ball off, and he is stopped at the line for a loss on a combination of Josh Jennings and Danny Deasy. Looked like will get credit for a half a tackle.
I'll tell you, that was a big third down play. Now they're going to have to punt. Coach Gibson doesn't seem to be the type of coach that will take chances, whereas Jack Cochran is. So I think he's going to punt this away and give his defense a chance to redeem themselves.
Corey Sheets can run and he can kick also. He sends a big spiraling one downfield to number 24, Andrew Jackson, who moves right and picks up a block. A big hit down the sideline over the 50 to the 45 and out of bounds, and this Hurricane crowd comes alive. A big run back as he fielded that one on his 24 and brought it across midfield. Terrific field position for the Hurricanes as they look to add to this 6-0 lead with 2:17 left.
As you can see, the Hurricanes got players. They have many of them. This is double L school. And they can they have a lot of players to adjust to whatever's going on.
Andrew Jackson can fly. He's a wide receiver. Look at that block.
Oh.
Yeah, it helps when you got speed, but when you get blocking like that, your speed looks that much better.
And that speed sets up those nice blocks.
They go to Jennings with the ball. He is stopped after a gain of about 2, bringing up a 2nd and 8. 2:09 left in the first quarter. 6-0 New Britain.
With that straight dive to the fullback, Jack must be setting up something. Let's see what he has on his second play.
He was pretty straightforward in the game against Wilbur Cross, and as we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, Bloomfield coach Bobby Gibson said he was pretty straightforward, was Cochran, but you can expect nothing less but all the tricks he's got. He is a good offensive coordinator for a head coach.
Well, I had a chance to see some of those tricks this week, and he's got them all in. Every part of the game, every part of the field, he's got the tricks in, and I had a chance to see some of those this week.
Well, the Lynx will move up about 2 as Luke carries the ball again. The ball spotted at the 35-yard line, bringing up another 3rd down. We've seen some good 3rd downs, and New Britain so far has been very successful. They've been perfect on every 3rd down the New Britain offense has been challenged with.
Absolutely. This is a little longer one than they had before. You know, the first series they had short yardage on their 3rd downs. This one's a little longer. Let's see what they do. Let's see what type of play Cochran comes up with.
3rd and 5. Will we see Maystill throw for the first time? Less than a minute left in the first quarter. In motion is Nate Daniel. It's a handoff, and it's no gain for Jennings, maybe even a loss of a yard, as he is swallowed up at the line by Marlon Thomas, the senior fullback and linebacker.
Bobby Gibson's staff, you can fool me once, you're not going to fool me twice. Look like they're playing inside out, which is typical with a lot of defenses. They're going to stop you inside, force you to go to the outside, and we're going to look for you to go to the outside.
So what do we have here? This is tough field position. This is certainly out of Chris Roberts' field goal range. So they, well, you know, if you start at the 36-yard line, so be it. They are going to have to go for it. And now Maystow calls timeout. He didn't like what he saw on the defense that Bloomfield was setting up on this 4th and 6 with 12 seconds left. That's a tough time to call a timeout if you want to save those for the half. 12 seconds left on the play clock, or 12 seconds left on the game clock in the first quarter, and he calls a timeout.
Well, you know, they're going to be, there's really no wind here tonight. You can go each way. Jack felt this is an important play. It's a 4th down play. Call the timeout. Make sure you get the first down. You know, if he doesn't get it, he wasted the timeout. But he feels with this timeout, he can call the right play after seeing the defense, and he can get that first down.
When do we see Maystow throw the ball if you're coaching this team?
Well, this would be a perfect time for it. You know, you can see a little play action right here, a little short pass to the tight end or somebody. But this would be a perfect opportunity for it. Courage to do it.
Well, they set up once again 12 seconds on the game clock here in the first quarter with New Britain leading 6-0. Maystow calls the play in motion and drops back. It is going to be play action. Maystow picks up a block and airs one up. Is that ball caught or is it trapped by Andrew Jackson? They're going to say it's trapped. Incomplete pass on Maystow's first attempt of the game, but almost a sensational catch by Andrew Jackson, who had to at least give the referee something to think about as he trapped that one right around the 20-yard line.
Absolutely. Maestro, he had 2 wide open receivers down there and just couldn't get it to him. When he kind of pulled it down and took a couple more steps, I think it threw him off and cut off a little bit of his power, but he had 2 wide open receivers. Great call by Cochran.
Now they will get 1 play off here in the first quarter as New Britain leads at 6-0 and Bloomfield takes over on the 35-yard line. It's a pitch play and fumbled by Sheets. And is it recovered by the Hurricanes or did Sheets hop on that? Sheets does recover. It'll be for a very big loss though, more than 10 yards. So Corey Sheets maybe a little bit jittery in this big game. He played terrific against Hartford Public, but he dropped that pitch.
Well, you know, last year he didn't have to be the man. They had Matt Lawrence. Now this year he's the man. He's the guy. They got to go with him. You know, he wants that. I'm sure he's a little nervous right now. Bobby Gibson's going to calm them down. You know, they're only 6 points down at this point, and so I'm sure he'll get back at it and show everybody here why he selected UConn.
A low-scoring first quarter for two explosive offenses. We'll be back. It's 6-0 New Britain, and you're watching Nutmeg TV Sports presentation of high school football.
Let's sit down for a second, okay, sweetie? Hey, Kayla, there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Kayla. Come and play.
Oh, sweetie. Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium. Pretty animated on the sideline are the Hurricanes. They should be. They're up 6-0, and they've got Bloomfield in a very tough position right now. It's 3rd and 21 after that fumble recovery by Corey Sheets, the renowned tailback of whom we've spoken so highly of. He just flat out dropped a pitch there.
He did, and on that last play, Manson throwing his first pass, a little short. The Hurricanes got a nice rush on that. It looks like Bloomfield Warhawks is still trying to find their rhythm, still trying to find their game plan. And let's see what they have on this play.
Well, Corey Sheets certainly can run, but you have to think they're going to go to Martin Manson on 3rd and 21, and indeed he does roll left and fires the ball over to Calvin Manson, his cousin. He's knocked out of bounds. Gains about 6 yards on that, but it'll bring up a 4th and long situation, and the punt team will come on for Bloomfield.
New Britain, if they feel this, they're going to get good field position again. I'm sure Bobby Gibson's not happy. He's going to talk to that offensive line as they come over here. New Britain's going to have great field position, and Jack Corcoran's going to be able to do a lot of different things.
Corey Sheets set up at his own 15-yard line and ready to kick. And off to receive for the Hurricanes as Sheets sends a line drive spiral is Andrew Jackson, who fakes the reversal and takes it across field, gets the big block up to the 50. He's still on his feet to the 45. He's got a hole, and they're going to chase him all the way to the goal line, to the 10, 5, touchdown New Britain.
Boy, that's nice. If I'm the Warhawks, I'm kicking away from him the rest of the game. He found his blocks. He made a couple of moves. He made a couple of open field moves that helped himself out, then found his wall, and right down the sideline he went. I think what set that up is that little fake that they had. That's something that I saw in practice this week. As you can see, that's one of Jack Cochran's first little wrinkles.
Andrew Jackson returns the punt, and he really slowed up around midfield. You thought that Bloomfield defense was going to swallow him up. Not the case. Jackson faked the handoff, as you said, and just did a few stutter steps around midfield and took off. Chris Roberts with the extra point attempt. It's right down the middle of the uprights, and it's 13-0 New Britain, or 12-0 New Britain. We forget that there was that missed kick earlier. So New Britain enjoys a 12-0 lead, 11:31 left after the punt return from Andrew Jackson.
With the respect that both of these coaches have for each other, and being on the same team for a number of years, they still want to beat each other. And I can tell you right now, Jack Corcoran is going to try to put the pedal down and pour it on. I talked to both coaches this week, and they told me how in their first game they tried to keep the score down. They tried to hold things down. No way. They want everybody to know where the best football is played. They're running up the score.
And I should take note of that they're running up the score, because I cheated New Britain on a point. It's actually 13-0. Check that. I said it was 12-0. It is 13-0. New Britain. You don't want to lose any points against these teams. Both teams very capable of putting them on the board, so everyone's going to count. If it's if last game is indicative of how this one will be, every point will count. It was a close one in a 42-35 New Britain win last year. And you can't remember, one thing that has to stay in New Britain's mind is they had a pretty commanding lead at halftime. But because of this explosive Bloomfield offense, they were able to make a late second half surge and give New Britain some anxious moments. So New Britain, certainly with a 13-0 lead, not exactly comfortable yet.
Absolutely. You're never comfortable when you got somebody like Corey Sheets on the other side. Corcoran knows that. He knows that, once the Warhawks get a little bit of rhythm, they could see Corey Sheets go the length of the field a few times, and they're right back in it. So you never have enough points, and every team needs every point.
Chris Roberts kicks a line drive to the 35-yard line, and that's where Bloomfield will take over. They want to keep that ball away from Corey Sheets. Not really a bad play, I think, there. Really, after the punt return from Andrew Jackson, the last thing you want is to give the ball to Corey Sheets and have him go all the way down and negate that momentum going your way.
Absolutely. Smart call by Corcoran and his staff, I have to admit. I wouldn't kick it deep either. Don't give them breathe any life into them. You kick it short. You let them play right there. The defense too serious and stopped them, on a fumble one play and everything. So I think that was a great call by Corcoran.
Well, Bloomfield will take over on the 35-yard line. Manson fumbles the ball, and it is recovered by the Hurricanes. Again on the snap. Another bad snap. It looks to be recovered by the Hurricanes. We haven't gotten the signal yet, but it looked as though Juan Cancel jumped on that. Oh, Corey Sheets did recover it. Let's take a look at the replay. It looked like Cancel hopped on that. It must have squeaked through. There he loses the ball. Oh, he did lose it. Look at the battle there. Yeah. He's got.
One of the things coaches teach you, when you dive on a fumble, don't roll over. He rolled over, ball came loose again.
Is that a case of him wanting to jump on that ball and maybe return that instead of just falling on the football and taking over with good field position? They hand the ball off. It's another big loss in the backfield. Corey Sheets stopped again. He has been swallowed up by this New Britain defense, who certainly have come with a plan for him.
I have to tell you, with that fumble, these coaches and knowledgeable coaches, they teach players from an early age how to recover a fumble. It's a technique to recovering a fumble, and a lot of times in the heat of the battle, kids will forget. And this time they did, and because he did that, Warhawks got the ball back.
They do have the ball back, but on a very difficult 3rd and 23, they're 0 for 2 on third down conversions, but considering where they've been on those third down conversions, it's been 3rd and 20 more than once now. Back to throw is Manson, and he is swallowed up. Now a flag on the play. Actually, they gave the ball to Martin Manson.
Looks like Corcoran's defense decided, we're going to put 8 guys in the box, make you throw the ball. You're not going to beat us with the run, and we're coming with everybody. They're sending everybody on this play. 8 guys in the box, just like I said, and great move. They're going to force Manson to beat them. They're not going to let Sheets beat them tonight.
Juan Cancel all over Manson there, and now Bloomfield will have to kick from deep in their zone. Sheets gets the kickoff all the way back to the 31-yard line. Some favorable bounces, and finally John Morales just falls on the football. So what looked to be promising drive coming up for the Hurricanes with some good field position as Sheets was way back in his own end. Ends up turning out to be a pretty good kick for Sheets as New Britain will take it over behind their 35-yard line. Good kick from Sheets.
Absolutely. You know, he hasn't had the opportunity to help him, you know, with his running. So he's helping him on the other end with his kicking.
He's certainly got a lot more yards out of his foot kicking than he has running.
Randy Edsel at UConn is probably taking note of that. You know, these D1 coaches want those athletes who can play 4 and 5 positions, and Sheets is one of them.
Well, Maystow and the Hurricanes will take over. And they hand the ball off once again as they keep going through the Hurricanes to Randy Luke, who barrels his way up through a hole and gains about 4 on that, bringing up a 2nd and 6 to about the 37-yard line.
You get the sense that Corcoran's not going to take any chances. He's going to just sit back, play basic. Luke's left, Luke's right, and see where the chips fall.
They hand the ball off once again to Luke. Gets some decent blocks and gains maybe a yard or 2. So once again, pounding away at this defense is the Hurricanes offense under Coach Cochran. He is certainly elected to run the ball more than he threw the ball. And you wondered with all the games that he plays and all the games he plays in the media when he said that Maystow really has accepted his role and won't be throwing the ball as much, if that wasn't so much a decoy to the Bloomfield defensive coordinators reading the papers. It seems to have proven true today as they have handed the ball off to Luke as consistently as they can. Now Maystow's going to throw, and he's going to run. He's not going to throw. He's going to barrel his way up for the first down across midfield and out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. So Maystow did have the pass play on, but didn't find anybody. And don't forget about him. He can rush also. And right now, he's got a couple of big rushing plays, a couple of more than 10-yard rushes for Maystow. So not only can he throw the ball, but he certainly can run the ball also.
When you have a quarterback and you want to get him some confidence, what better way to get him confidence than run him on a bootleg or naked, as this play was when he had no lead blocker, roll him out so he has the option to run or throw and use that speed. So far, he's been using that speed.
They brought the spot back. It looked like Maystow got over midfield. He did not. And neither did Mike McLeod in the game now, seeing his first action on his first carry of the season. He gained about a yard there, bringing up a 2nd and 9 on the 49.
I got to tell you, as I said before, New Britain has a bunch of different backs, and he's a nice one. I think any other program, he's probably the starting tailback.
Well, depth is certainly nothing to scoff at the in football, especially in a game like this when you can give a guy as they hand the ball off and run. And it's another first down for New Britain.
There goes Luke's again.
That's the point I was just about to make, is when you can go to a guy like McLeod, then you really can at least give a little bit of a break to Luke and help him out on plays like that. If he's not touching the ball every play and you can get help in depth, it's got to bode so much better for your star running back.
Well, I got to tell you, when you have a double L school, as I said before, you have those type of players. But one thing that Corcoran has that many other programs don't have, and that's that midget football feeder program. Those players come here knowing a lot. They come to Corcoran already been exposed to media, been exposed to television, to being exposed to playing in high top-level games against great teams from Florida and around the country. So they're used to that. Not many programs have that. He's got it, and he is a lucky one.
Corey Sheets, you have to wonder, he knows what a big game this is, his senior season, and he's got to be thinking not only at the task at hand, but he wants to impress this UConn staff that's here tonight. Is that something that's in his mind, and do you think that maybe is having a negative effect on him tonight?
Well, I don't think so. I think what happens is that he has to, when you're a star player like he is, you have to make people around you step up, and sometimes they don't. And you can only do so much. As a player, you have to have a team. This is a team sport, and right now he's got to get his teammates to help him along.
Maystow, play action. He is pressured, and if he's knocked out, it's going to be a big loss, but he gets away from the pressure of the defense and brings it up to just over the 40-yard line. Looked like he was going to go out of bounds, but the tough kid that he is, faked going out of bounds, then cut back to gain at least a couple more yards. So he's really trying to will those 2 extra yards.
Absolutely. I know a little about playing quarterback. I have a son, of course, that's a quarterback. And one of the things that I'm seeing from Maystow is that even though he's being rushed, he still keeps his eyes downfield. He's still looking for receivers. that's a sign of a pretty good quarterback. Somebody has taught him well.
Now, if you're Jack Cochran, do you want him to really scramble for those 2 extra yards or just take the ball out of bounds? Jack Cochran's a tough coach, and he wants his players tough as they hand the ball off to Luke up the middle. One man to beat in the secondary, and he is brought down by his counterpart, Corey Sheets. He was the last person in the secondary for Bloomfield, and he just saved a touchdown, but not before New Britain got another first down. Randy Luke pounding the ball home.
The two finally meet. They meet as Luke is almost ready to score, but he did get tackled by Sheets.
Well, New Britain will get another first down inside the red zone. As we look at Luke take it up the middle, and there they are. 2 great tailbacks meet up. Maybe Sheets wins that battle, but certainly great field position. They'll take that run from him.
Absolutely.
From Randy Luke. But
Absolutely.
a nice tackle, nice open field tackle though by Sheets. He can do it on defense also.
I've seen Jack Cochran now run a few different formations. That last formation, there's no fullback, spread people out, give Luke more room to run. He found the hole, straight handoff, found the hole, and picked up a few yardage. Right now, Jack can almost do anything he wants to do.
13-0 New Britain. Randy Brochu, along with Robin Anderson. Glad you could join us tonight from Veterans Memorial Stadium. Hot night out as Isabel has passed us, but the hurricane is certainly being felt by Bloomfield here on the gridiron as New Britain High School, the Golden Hurricanes, lead Bloomfield 13-0 in a game, as we mentioned, with Isabel gone. It's hot out. It feels like summer, but, man, this one feels like one you might find in November.
There's 2 hurricanes that hit in the East Coast. Right now, the New Britain Hurricanes are doing an incredible job out here against the Bloomfield Warhawks.
Maystow hands the ball off. It's Luke barreling his way up to the 12-yard line. A gain of about 5.
Luke has got to be getting close to 100 yards already, and it's still the first half. And doing this against the Warhawks, who have good speed on their side of the ball and great coaching. This says a lot about the Hurricanes. It could be their year. They're not ranked #1 in the state for nothing.
Now, how big is this drive that they score on this? As far as killer instinct goes, as barreling up the way is Luke, and right on target. He does cross the goal line. That's going to get this lead up to 20, barring any missed snaps, and hopefully for the Hurricanes, they hope that Chris Roberts nails the extra point. But a 20-0 lead?
Well, it's going to be tough to overcome that, but what you do is at halftime, as Gibson tells his players to put that first half behind them and come out and score. If they can score before the half, they're right back in it.
Well, certainly this Bloomfield offense is very capable of scoring points, but is this, at least for morale-wise, first half, as Roberts nails that one down the middle for the extra point to give them a 20-0 lead, is that a morale backbreaker?
It isn't. I can tell you what Jack Cochran is going to be telling his players at halftime. Hey, this game's not over. It's a long way from being over. You remember what happened last year. And Gibson's telling his players the same thing. Hey, we were here last year. We can come back. We can do this. And I would say coming out the second half, if New Britain scored, things could be a tough road back for the Warhawks.
That being said, Robin, then how big is it that Bloomfield had that second half comeback last year? Is that going to be fresh in their minds? Is that going to be fresh in the Hurricanes' mind?
If you're a coach, you're using everything to get your players' mind back into the game, and I'm sure Bobby Gibson's going to be using that fact that, hey, we've been here before. We can do this. I know we can. All right, let's do it one play at a time, one series at a time.
Randy Luke barrels his way through from the 15-yard line, a 15-yard run on that one, giving New Britain a 20-0 lead with 6:15 left. But plenty of football left, again, as you mentioned, Robin.
I can see Jack Cochran probably telling Luke all week that, hey, Sheets is going to UConn. They don't even know about you. Using that as a motivator to him. Again, Jack Cochran is the type of coach who likes to push buttons, and whatever button he can push to make his players better, he will. Luke is out here making a statement, letting everybody know that the Britain Hurricanes have some great backs also.
Chris Roberts sends a line drive over the 15-yard line. Sheets is going to wait for it to settle down, and he picks it up. and is nailed at the 19-yard line. Actually escaped a tackle momentarily before he was brought down on the 18-yard line. So not a great run back for Corey Sheets. This New Britain defense, we talked about how prepared Jack Cochran is with his offensive schemes, but the defensive scheme is certainly played out as far as shutting down Corey Sheets is.
They've watched a lot of film. I talked to them. They've seen a lot of film the first game. They watched a lot of films the last year. Both of these programs do a lot of film watching. Jack Cochran decided, hey, we're going to put 8 in the box and make Manson beat us. We don't think that he can beat us. And that's what they're doing so far, and his game plan's working.
Manson's going to throw the ball. It's tipped at the line, and it falls in between two Hurricanes. Almost an interception as it landed harmlessly between Stephen Campbell and Kewan Fontaine. What a big turnover that would have been if one of those two could have picked that ball up.
That would have been a backbreaker just before the half, scoring again like that, so easy. That would have been a backbreaker if they could have intercepted that.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Manson. And by my count, that's the 3rd time he's thrown the ball today. And he's 1 for 3. They threw the ball with that long, that 3rd and long, just to get some room for their kicker Sheets. Well, that's been about it. So Manson not tested much, but the line, the offensive line, doing their job, getting their hands up. As we have flags all over the place, they hand the ball off, does Bloomfield, to Marlon Thornton, but that play whistled dead.
That was a great call, and I'm sure Jack Corcoran took note of that. That was a little counter play, the first one I've seen from the Warhawks, using Britain's speed against them. It looked like the running back had 2 blockers in front of him, one defensive person out there in front of him, so that could have been a big one. Let's see if Corcoran saw that, and I'm sure he did, and he'll probably adjust.
Cochran believes in taking advantage of the other team's mistake. That false start, certainly a mistake, as Marlon Thornton seemed to have a pretty good hole, but with which to run. Unfortunately for him, someone on his line was offsides. And now in the backfield scrambling is Martin Manson, and he is sacked for a big loss. The New Britain defense has come to play tonight. That's going to be a huge loss for Bloomfield. Again, it's going to be a 3rd and long, 3rd and more than 20. And field position so critical with 2 offensive teams like New Britain and Bloomfield.
Absolutely. What Corcoran's doing, he's having 8 in the box. He's sending everybody. He's coming off the corner. He's doing different things. He's sitting in a straight 4-man line, but he's taking one of his backers, stepping him up on the line to make it a 5-man line, like a 5-3 defense. And then he's sending people off the corner on top of that. He's doing everything. He's got you down. He's keeping you down. That's Corcoran football. Bobby Gibson knows that. He's trying to adjust.
3rd and 22. We'll see if they test the arm of Manson. And a flag on the play before the snap. Do we have a delay of game, perhaps? Well, they're clapping on the New Britain side, so this is going to push Bloomfield back even more, almost to their goal line. This is tough field position. This is a tough spot for Bloomfield right now. 3rd and 27. This is the 3rd time that Manson has had to work with a 3rd and more than 20.
Absolutely, and if they don't get the ball out of here and hold the Hurricanes, it could be a backbreaker.
Manson almost down on his goal line. He will scramble. Actually does a pretty good job of getting some field room for Sheets to kick the ball as he scrambles up to the 20-yard line. He was almost sacked at the goal line for 2 points and a safety.
That was a planned play, a planned call. That was a quarterback draw. He went back. He had no intention of throwing that. He dropped back and just went straight up the field to keep it in the center of the field, to give the kicker a chance to get the ball off and won't have to kick out of the end zone.
Johnny Morales back for the Hurricanes to accept this kick from Corey Sheets. So is Andrew Jackson, and another flag. Flags flying all over the play, and running it actually is going to be Sheets. He's knocked down at the 10, but we'll see if this holds through. Sheets. Was that a trick play? Were they not kicking the ball there, or was that? Well, this is a penalty on Bloomfield. So the Hurricanes are going to be able to shake off the penalty and take over on their 10-yard line. So, boy, we talked in the opening about how Jack Cochran really wanted better discipline as far as the flags go. But on the other side, Bloomfield has been killing themselves with penalties, and that being a case in point right there.
Well, penalties can determine the game, and in this case, New Britain has had very few. The Bloomfield's had a lot, and big, crucial penalties that are hurting them. And right now, it could possibly put the game out of reach for them if they don't toughen up right here and try to stop the Hurricanes. I can tell you right now, Bobby Gibson can't wait to get into that locker room so he can settle his players down. He's all about execution. I watched him again in practice this week. Him and his assistant preached execution. He's so calm. He's so relaxed. His players carried himself like that. I can see them, if they can hold him here, to come back out the second half and really wake up, because that's what he preaches. And again, the players take after their coaches. They're down. They're not rattled, even though they're making some mistakes here. I'm sure that Bobby Gibson is going to talk to him, and he wants to get in that locker room as soon as he can.
I'm sure I would too if I was down 20-0, down with the ball on the 14 or the 11-yard line. This is a tough spot, and you say last year you can take last year's come from behind or almost come from behind as Maisto goes to the end zone, looking end zone, and there is David Reed for the touchdown. As Maisto wastes no time and goes into the end zone. Now a flag on the play in the end zone. We'll see what this is. Maybe an unsportsmanlike, perhaps, as It was a pretty late flag.
Absolutely. This is one of the things I really not too thrilled about. These are kids. They're excited. They're celebrating. Let them play.
David Reed, not exactly one of the favorite targets of Maisto. He didn't catch one pass last week. He didn't get one pass last week, so.
Absolutely. Well, I said this week in practice, I watched Maisto throw the ball and throw the ball well to a number of different people. Jack Cochran can go to that bench and pull off a few different players. I got to tell you, he has the luxury to go deep in that bench, and he's telling everybody that he's got players going both ways, and he doesn't have a bench. Oh, that's Jack Sandbeck, and he's got players.
They're bringing the ball back to the 18-yard line. The penalty is on New Britain. The unsportsmanlike will bring Chris Roberts back to the 25-yard line. His kick for that extra point, well, he had to work for that extra point, but it didn't work well enough as the ball tailed far left. So not really any fault of Chris Roberts. That one has got to go on whoever executed that unsportsmanlike play, bringing Roberts back to the 25-yard line, and that's a tough extra point. It
is. I watched him in practice this week consistently kick a 40-45-yarder. So he's got the leg, as you saw. He was a little off, but wide left, but he's got a lot of distance on that. I think Bloomfield right here has to settle down and try to get a score out of this before the half to get some momentum going. And if I'm Jack Cochran and the Hurricanes, just like last time, I'm not kicking it deep. I'm not giving them a chance. I'm going to kick it around on the ground. I'm going to let it roll around and eat up time and let our speed get a chance to get down there. Our defense is going to hold. They've been holding so far. Why give a chance to kick the ball to Sheets and give them a chance to go the distance on you?
26-0 Hurricanes, and they are silent on the other end, on the far end of the field in the Bloomfield crowd. This is, at the beginning of the game you had that playoff-like atmosphere, but this is turning into a pretty one-sided event. And certainly right now you're lacking that intensity that you had at the beginning of the game, but don't be fooled. If Corey Sheets returns one or two, all of a sudden that Bloomfield crowd will be back and in full force. Sheets certainly is capable of that, and we'll see what Bobby Gibson, what adjustments he'll make at halftime.
Absolutely. One score, and it'll bring up those Warhawk fans and their players.
Once again, they stay away from Sheets. Roberts kicks the ball on the ground to the 30. Tyler Anderson, the junior, dives on it, and Bloomfield will take over the ball from just inside their 30-yard line. Well, you mentioned, we mentioned as Maisto threw that touchdown pass that certainly Bloomfield can take into the halftime locker room. That last year they put up a bunch of points and had a late surge and was right in that game, a 42-35 New Britain lead. But certainly this is a much different game than last year. After Bloomfield ran back a touchdown on the opening play of the game last year, they're now down 26-0. They've done nothing on offense, so certainly not quite the confidence that they had last year. That's lacking tonight as they go to Sheets, who gains about a yard. And actually, they will rule no gain, maybe a half a yard.
You're absolutely right. This is a different game right now. Bloomfield hasn't got anything going, hasn't got any momentum, hasn't put in any points. Unlike last year, at this point, they had points on the board. And that's what Bobby Gibson's thinking about. I just got to get some points on the board. I have to get my kids some confidence before this half. I have to do something to show them that, yes, we can do this. If they don't get no points before the half, it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be a tough halftime speech.
Flags on the play. Sheets is nailed in the backfield. A big hit by Andrew Jackson, the president. Nickname him the president, playing like a president. Nailing Sheets in the backfield, but there's flags on the play. We'll see if this play is done. Oh, it's going to be a false start, so they will decline the penalty and send Sheets and his Bloomfield squad back to about the 15-yard line.
With all of these penalties, you wouldn't expect this from a Bobby Gibson coach team. But sometimes the other team makes you and causes these penalties. And right now it looks like the Hurricanes, with their defense, is causing these penalties. They're rattling, they're doing things to them that are upsetting their offense and their scheme. And this is exactly the type of game that Corcoran wanted.
I mean, the third downs haven't even been close. Again, 3rd and 17. They hand the ball off to Marlon Thornton, and he is swallowed up again by the Hurricane defense. It's Nate Daniel on the tackle.
Well, I got to tell you, the Britons showing me some stuff this evening. They're showing me that they have speed in many different positions. You didn't get that sense the first game, but now you're getting that sense that they have speed. The Warhawks can't get outside. That was a counter play that they were trying to get outside with, and they could not. The Britons got speed.
Corey Sheets set to kick. He faked the kick last time, and it worked really against Bloomfield. He will kick this one away. It's a high kick to about the 45-yard line. Johnny Morales will let it drop. It's down there by a Bloomfield special teams player. I believe it was, in fact, Calvin Manson who knocked the ball down. Or rather, no, that was Jermaine Riles who jumped on that ball. So the Hurricanes will take over on the 41-yard line of Bloomfield. Once again, looking for another score with 2:07 left on the clock, and this one going completely in the favor of the Hurricanes. It's 26-0 New Britain.
You're right. Corcoran is looking for another score. He never has enough. He will tell you that he tried to keep the score down. No, he's not. He wants to score. He wants to score quick.
Maisto's going to throw. He rolls back and airs it out down the sideline to Johnny Morales. Did he catch it? No, he juggled it around, almost made a spectacular catch inside the 5-yard line. Juggled it twice, great second effort, but unfortunately, he and the ground met and the ball popped loose, and that's going to happen. The ground's going to win those battles most of the time. Absolutely. As a coach, you're trying to get as many points as you can, and they were trying to get it quick. When you get a change of possession like that, you want to strike quick while the iron's hot. Corcoran just took his shot to try to score again quick. Well, he's come under fire. Of course, this game certainly not over, even though it's 26-0. We speak again of that explosive Bloomfield offense, certainly capable of scoring a few quick points as flags fly everywhere. But Cochran's come under a little bit of fire for the way he runs scores up. Of course, Bloomfield can't say anything after a 72-0 win, but, perhaps he is controversial, but he certainly wins football games. He's lost only 2 since he's been here in New Britain.
Yeah, absolutely. The way our system works in the state of Connecticut, it causes you to run up the score. It makes you run up the score so you can be in position to be in the tournament, be in position to have your team win a state championship. So it causes you to do that, especially when you're playing a team like New Britain. They're playing a lower class team as far as a division, them being double L, and and the Warhawks being Class S.
Class S. Second and 15, by the way, and that's because there was a false start on the side of the Hurricanes. They regained those 5-yard lines, though, or those 5 yards that they lost by bringing the ball back to the 39-yard line, bringing up a 3rd and 10 with 1:31 left. Well, will we see Maystill throw again? He drops back. Nope, they're going to hand the ball off. It's McLeod at the 40, going outside up to about the 38-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds, but flags everywhere. Did we see a late hit or a face mask, perhaps?
I think that was a late hit, out of bounds. Yep, absolutely, the late hit out of bounds.
Well, those have got to be driving Bloomfield crazy right now. Not only have the Hurricanes shut down Corey Sheets, but we're going to take a look at the late hit right now. But not only are they shutting down Corey Sheets, but Bloomfield is not helping their cause by these silly late hits and unsportsmanlikes.
Well, you know what happens is you're trying to make a play as a kid, as a teenager. You're trying to make a play. You're trying to, to do everything you possibly can, and you get a little over-aggressive. That wasn't, very flagrant, if you want to call it, but that's a teenager trying to make a play.
Well, and as far as 26 for the Hurricanes, as they look for some killer instinct, they gave it to the right guy. They once again give it to the running back, Randy Luke, who's got another first down, finding a big hole and moving into the red zone.
It's Randy Luke on a straight handoff on the left side. He found a hole. He actually dropped the ball, bobbled it, picked it up, and kept going. Great hands, great speed, nice
great
body.
Feet.
Oh.
Let's take a look at that ball that he dropped. Wow. Almost like does he play basketball? Does it look like he was dribbling it?
Absolutely. It bounced right back up nice, right in his hands.
He was going for a layup.
Didn't even break stride.
Maystill's going to try to sneak it into the end zone. He's down to the 1-yard line. You might have heard the public address voice of the Hurricanes, Paul Majeski, call that one on our microphone. Coach Majeski, longtime coach, the longtime voice of the Hurricanes. Was an assistant coach of those great Hurricanes teams in the 70s. And he's
remember
now
them well.
The voice of the Hurricanes. Hurricane baseball also. Well, 2nd and 1, 34 seconds left. And it looks as though this is going to be a more than 30-point lead at halftime. We expected a close one. What happened to what we expected? What happened to the hype?
Well, I'll tell you what it is, and I firmly believe this. This is Corcoran getting everything he wanted. He got the game here, night game, in his field, with his team, being able to prepare. This is Corcoran running his show.
34 seconds left, and not only will they take a big lead in to the halftime, but they're controlling the ball with 34 seconds left. And this last one's going to be remembered pretty clearly, I would imagine, in the locker room. Of course, we're assuming that they get the ball over the line. It is 2nd and 1. Pretty good position for the Hurricanes. They hand the ball off to Josh Jennings. He stopped. No, he got over the line. He did just get over the line for the touchdown. Looked like he got stopped by the reaction up here from the Hurricanes. No, not much celebration. And he barely got in over the line, just barely got the nose of the ball. Into the end zone, 30 seconds left. It's 32 New Britain, with Chris Roberts coming on to look to add the extra point and make it 33-0 if he nails this. Wow.
Well, I tell you, the Warhawks are in a tough position, but again, kind of their own demise. The things that have happened. The penalties didn't hurt them. The fumbles didn't hurt them.
They're going for 2. How about that? Rolling out is Maystill. Going end zone. They've got their 2 as it's complete to Nate Daniel. Wow. What do you think of that now? Is this sending a message over to Bobby Gibson? He goes for 2 instead of the extra point. He goes for 2 with 30 seconds left. He's really sending a message over there.
Well, this is how Jack Corcoran thinks. I know. I've talked to him. I've watched him coach for years. and he would say to you, "Hey, I'm trying to get some confidence to my quarterback." that was how he would put it. But he's sending a message. This is him. He's letting.
Well, look at this there, Maisto, beautifully, and what does the Bloomfield defense? You almost sensed that there was no way that the Hurricanes weren't going to get that two, because the Bloomfield defense had to be sitting there going, "You kidding me? Up 31-0. You're going to go for the 2 points right now. You're going to really make us stay out here and go for the 2."
That's Jack Corcoran. He's one of those coaches. The game's not over yet, which is still the first half. Any coach would tell you, listen, until you get to the second half, and maybe after that first series, you get a sense of how things are going. But this is Corcoran. He's looking to put the points on the board. As I said earlier, Corcoran and Bobby Gibson, two different people.
They always say a good football team needs killer instinct, and if you don't know killer instinct, then you don't know Jack, because he certainly is the epitome of that.
Absolutely. The first time New Britain has kicked to put the ball in the air, they decided to kick it in the air and give one of the other players a chance, keep it away from Sheets. Still a great move. Great coaching.
Lloyd Brown on that reception is tackled at the 20-yard line, so as good of as a touchback, but certainly a little bit more hard fought for, as the New Britain defense once again engulfed him and sent him down at the 20-yard line with 23 seconds left. The Hurricanes up 34-0. Wow.
I think with a score like this, if it was against the Warhawks, any other team, I think they wouldn't be able to come back from this. They wouldn't be able to adjust from this. But being, New Britain, Britain's a very good team. They're ranked #1 in the state, so it's a little bit easier to handle if there's an easy way to handle it.
They go to the air. That ball is dropped as Manson looked for Manson. It was Martin Manson, the quarterback, looking for his cousin Calvin, and he hit him right in the number 9 in the middle of the jersey, but Calvin dropped the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, Jack Arkin still is getting his wish. They decided right now they got to go to the air, and Sheets is kind of out of it right now as far as running, and that's what you want. You want Manson and the other players to beat you. Corcoran felt by making them throw that they couldn't be beat, and so far, he's right.
They pitch to Corey Sheets, and it's going to be another loss as he is swallowed up. I don't know if he's gained any yards. I think he might be in the negative all game.
I think you're absolutely right. That New Britain defense is keying on him. They're going to force somebody else to beat him. And right now, Bobby Gibson haven't found anybody else that can do anything against that defense.
Well, this is going to be a break that actually goes in favor for Bloomfield. They have got to be saying, finally, it's a face mask, as Danny Desi couldn't keep his hands away from the facial area of Corey Sheets, and so maybe, that you look for anything. When you're down 34-0, you got to be looking for anything. And finally, one call goes in the favor of this Bloomfield team that's struggling to just get first downs.
Right.
New Britain just gave him a first down with 7 seconds left. One last play. Manson will roll, and he will be stopped. Nothing doing on that play. Danny Desi maybe made up for that face mask as he took him down, and that does it. Halftime is here. The Hurricane marching band will come out, and they might be playing their notes a little bit extra loud and with a little bit more enthusiasm, as their Hurricanes will take a 34-0 commanding lead into halftime right now. Who would have thought that? We talked about these two offensive teams, the great offense of Corey Sheets and what he did, but so far it has been all New Britain in New Britain.
Absolutely. Jack Corcoran's got a good game plan, offense and defensive side of the ball. He's shown to have a pretty good game plan so far.
34-0 New Britain. They will celebrate, and right now, stay tuned for halftime as the New Britain High School Golden Hurricane Marching Band will entertain the crowd here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. We'll be back with more football after the halftime show. You're watching Nutmeg TV sports presentation of high school football. Now the New Britain Golden Hurricane Marching Band.
inhalants to get high can cause things like muscle spasms, because the nerves that control them may be dying. Dead nerves might come back. Then again, they might not.
Andrew! Andrew! Kelsey, would you please join us?
Off the phone. It's supper time.
Is it ever too early to talk with your kids about drugs? Not when the rest of the world has already started the conversation. Knowing what your kids are up to can help.
Cadence, when we were under the drum.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the high school Golden Hurricane Marching Band.
Well, I'll tell you, he's hidden behind that defensive line. And that defense of the Hurricanes.
Roberts, the kickoff. We'll see if Bloomfield makes any adjustments. They fumble the ball. Sheets jumps on it. No, the Hurricanes jump on it. How about that for a first play in the second half? Recovering the ball for the Canes on the kickoff is Juan Cancel. And that is, I'm pretty sure, not quite how Bobby Gibson wanted to start off this second half.
Well, I'll tell you exactly. There's nothing that he wanted to see. That's exactly what Cochran wanted to see. He wants to jump on him first to make sure, put the last nail in the coffin early up to score. But that's exactly what Bobby Gibson did not want to see happen.
Well, there can't be many on this Bloomfield team that are used to playing with a deficit such as this. 34-0. They went undefeated in the regular season as Maystow goes play action and fumbles the ball himself. Flags are down on the play, though. The ball is loose and recovered by the Hurricanes, but we're going to see where this play goes as flags are thrown all over the place. That ball almost recovered by Tremaine Riles, and once again, he tried to run with the ball instead of just falling on it.
Absolutely. You know, I can tell you this week in practice, I'm sure they're going to be teaching him how to recover a fumble. Let's see what this penalty is that they have.
It's illegal motion on New Britain. So, undoubtedly with that big loss, Bloomfield will decline the penalty, and the Hurricanes, they will decline the penalty, and the Hurricanes will, after recovering the ball, be faced with a 2nd and 19 on the Bloomfield 29-yard line.
This is where you spread them out, and and it looks like there's Jackson in the backfield, the president, and they give him the ball.
There goes President Jackson barreling his way up to the 15-yard line. A big gain after a big loss. So that's just what you want, I would imagine, as a coach after a big loss on a broken play, on a fumble. Nice run by Jackson to regain some of those yards that New Britain lost.
You know, when you're the second back and on a team, you're always trying to show people that that you're the first back. That this team has more than one back, and that's what Jackson's doing right now.
Maystow looking to put the stake in. He drops it off from McLeod. Handoff goes to the 10-yard line, and that's going to be close. Depending on the spot, the Hurricanes may have a first down. It looks like it'll be a little short, however. Not sure if they're going to call the chains. It's going to be a 4th down. 4th and inches. So, undoubtedly, we may see a sneak, perhaps. It's worked on a couple of occasions tonight for Maystow. He sneaks the ball, and he's got the first down.
You know, you wonder why Luke isn't in the game right now. And I think this is, if Jack Cochran has a softer side, this could be it, where he's giving a chance to someone else to play the start of the second half. And that's not like him.
McLeod certainly is capable of doing damage with 14 touchdowns in 2002. But you're right, if you're really going to put the dagger in the heart, you think you'd go with your best. McLeod not bad, but he is not going to gain anything there. In fact, he's going to lose about 2 or 3 yard lines as he is engulfed by the defense of Bloomfield, bringing up 2nd and about 11. Yeah, they'll spot the ball on the 9-yard line, so it'll bring up 2nd and 10. 34-0 New Britain. And as the band settles in, the New Britain High Band, after we were treated to a great show by Mr. Chuck Lund's New Britain High School Band, one of the loudest bands in the country, the Bloomfield offense has been quiet. Not so for New Britain, as McLeod gets the pitch and it brings it over the goal line for the touchdown. Another score for New Britain. It is going to be 40-0, and depending on if they go for the 2 points or the 1 point, 42-0. Boy, is that... Who would have thought tonight? Now, you expected high score here, but it's been all New Britain with a high scoring. 42-0, or 40-0 rather right now. McLeod getting his score.
Well, I got to tell you, you didn't expect this, but with these two teams, and you have two good teams like this, things can happen. You get a couple penalties that go your way, the momentum shifts to one side of the field, and next thing you know, you're down 40 points. That happens sometimes in games. Now we're going to see what the Warhawks are made of, the rest of this game. We're going to find out how tough they are, what type of players they are, and this is when coaches find out, how good they are also. This is when coaching happens, when you're down, when you're struggling, when things aren't going your way. This is the sign of a good coach that can find things to kind of rally the troops.
Roberts' extra point is good, and it is 41-0 with 9:51 left in the 3rd quarter. Well, if you are Bobby Gibson, obviously he's an emotional guy. He goes into halftime. I'm sure he, does everything he can, tries to say all the right things, make all the right adjustments. But what an empty feeling that must be on the first play, on the first kickoff, to fumble. I mean, that's got to be such an empty feeling for a coach after you've probably given so much in the locker room.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That was the nail in the coffin. It's going to be very difficult, for the Warhawks to even mount any kind of an attack at this point because, they made their adjustments at half, and you come out, you have a turnover, the Hurricanes get it and go in and score. That's a tough thing to handle right now.
Chris Roberts to kick off. It's a spiraling high one to about the 25-yard line, but it's not in the field of play. He kicked it out of bounds. So not what Chris Roberts wanted to do. The flags go, and they'll bring this ball up.
This is something that the Hurricanes didn't want to do, to kick it out of bounds. It gives New Britain, give the Warhawks good field position, and like I said, Jack Corcoran is the type of coach that, he has you down, he wants to keep you down, so that was a little mistake on their part. We'll find out how big of a mistake, but being up 41 points, it's not going to hurt them too much right away.
Chris Roberts has had a pretty decent day, however, as far as the extra points go. The only one he missed was the 25-yard attempt after the unsportsmanlike in the end zone after a New Britain touchdown. Corey Sheets picks up 1 yard. By the way, Corey Sheets, who rushed for 188 yards last week, gets a yard there, bringing him up to -29. He's lost 29 yards today. The running back that someday may be running for Randy Edsall's club lost 29 yards today. So New Britain, is that a testament to New Britain's defensive scheme on him? Obviously, he's the one they're going for. Or is this possibly, and I asked you before if this was maybe jitters with such a big game. Is it a combination of both? Is it one or the other?
I don't think it's jitters. I think what it is the Hurricanes have a lot of athletes. Bloomfield has Sheets, and right now they're Jack Corcoran, as I said, decided to take Sheets out of the game. He's not going to let Sheets beat the Hurricanes. It's going to have to be someone else, and right now someone else, Bobby Gibson hasn't found that someone else.
Will it be Martin Manson? No, they pitch to Sheets. They keep going to him, and Sheets is going to lose a yard. Actually, they're going to say no gain. Looked like he lost that yard that he picked up. It's going to be another 3rd and long. This one not quite as long as some of the 3rd and 20s and 3rd and 22, 3rd and 25. This is more of a traditional 3rd and 10, but still not an easy task against this New Britain defense that is now shutting out Bloomfield right now.
Absolutely, and again, Corcoran sticking with that, the 8 guys on the line and daring Manson to throw the ball. He's sending everybody when he does drop back to pass. He's leaving Bobby Gibson no outs right now. And Bobby Gibson's got to be pulling his hair out of it, trying to figure out what he can do to get a little momentum going.
Martin Madsen on play action is going to throw. And he is sacked behind the line. A big hit. Once again, it looked to be Danny Desi on the hit. Might have been a combination sack. But a loss nonetheless, a loss of about 4. So once again, these not only is Bloomfield being contained and not gain, they're not just not gaining big yardage, they're losing yards. And just about every play, they're losing yards.
They haven't found one play that's going to work. And right now, they hadn't planned on throwing the ball to beat New Britain. They were planning on running the ball to beat New Britain. As I talked to the coaches this week, they knew it was this game was going to be determined on the 5 guys up front. And right now, the 5 guys on the Hurricane side of the ball are dominating the line of scrimmage and dictating what's going on.
Andrew Jackson, the president, brings it up to about the 45-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds on that line drive kick. So New Britain will take over on the 44-yard line, up with a commanding 51-0 lead. 41-0 lead, pardon me.
Right now, Corcoran still has his starters in there. If anyone knows Jack Corcoran, and many people throughout the state do, those guys probably won't be coming out till late in the 4th quarter.
Masto to throw. He drops it off to Campbell. And Steve Campbell brings it up to the 30, which will be good for another New Britain first down. So Masto getting in on the action, getting some pass attempts on the scoring sheet. Doing well with it.
Jack Corcoran's, gearing up for the later games in the season, running plays and doing different things. He's, as we can see here, he's given a chance for Maestro to be successful with a short bootleg pass to another back. Later in the season, this could be something that they're going to need.
Randy Luke drives up the middle to gain about 4 yards. So Luke is having a very solid day. As down on the sidelines right now, getting some treatment. As a Hurricane player, looks to be Stefan Lawson. Pardon me, Stephen Campbell. Stephen Campbell of the Hurricanes getting some treatment. They pitch to Luke. Big block. That'll allow him to get up to the 30-yard line before he's pushed back. No gain on the play. 3rd and 7 coming up with 6:24 left, and New Britain up 41-0. Actually, he will lose a yard on the play as the official ruling. 3rd and 8 coming up.
With both these teams have speed, and it's difficult to get outside. But what Corcoran's doing, he's getting some moving inside, then he's going outside. He's trying to mix it up, keep Bobby Gibson and his staff, a little off. And right now, he's been successful with it.
Masto to throw. He fires it over the middle, and it's caught nicely on a sliding play by Johnny Morales. Another New Britain first down.
One of the things that the Britain coaches told me this week is we can throw the ball. We're not just a running team. We can throw the ball, but we don't have to throw the ball if we don't want to. Everybody thinks that these two teams are predominantly running teams, but Maisto and the Britain high coaches are letting people know that, hey, we can't throw the ball. They're sending the message right now throughout the state that we're a running team, we're a throwing team, and we play defense.
Maisto will hand off now to Randy Luke, up over the 15 to maybe the 14. They've been going to Maisto certainly more than we saw in the first half. Is it more than just sending a message? Is it maybe just at least trying to keep your quarterback fresh?
Well, it is. What Jack's doing, he's thinking for games later on down the road when, guess what, he might run across a team that might shut them down running the ball, and they have to throw. Now with these passes and different things that Maestro's doing, he's giving him some experience, giving him some seasoning, if you want, and also he's letting coaches know, okay, hey, we can do a bunch of different things.
Like run the ball with your quarterback as Maisto gets up to the 5-yard line. Again, we mentioned it before in the first half. Not only can he throw, but he can certainly run with the pig. And it's 3rd and 5 and on the 5. Maystow really getting involved in this game. Is this also maybe a situation of, it's a big game and you care about your kids as a coach and everyone wants to perform well because of all the hype for this game? Is this maybe an opportunity for Maystow to get involved with a big crowd and, family and friends in the stands and maybe show what he can do?
Jack Corcoran's not one of those ones that cares about family and friends. He cares about winning. He cares about sending the message to the other coaches when they have to play them, giving them other things to think about. He's not the type of coach that really cares if his players are happy. He feels that they're happy when they're winning. How they win is his job.
Well, it takes a lot to get Jack happy, but you'd have to think that somewhere behind that gruff exterior, he's got to be smiling right now as he's up 41-0. He and his Hurricanes with the ball on the 1-yard line as Luke brought it almost to the goal line. Now Maystow's going to sneak it. About 11 other officials on the team wearing red and gold gave the sign before the men in stripes did, but they gave the right side. It's a touchdown, and it's a huge lead now, 47-0 New Britain.
I got to tell you, if you think about this, Jack Corcoran, the type of coach he is, being one of the better coaches in the state. You might not like his style and some of his antics, but he is one of the better coaches in the state, and he could have been lost this year. If they didn't give him a teaching position, they could have lost, and I can't imagine losing one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the state, to someone else, because didn't have a position for him.
And you would hate to face him, as he's proving right now to Bloomfield. You hate, you get that much more up for the team that you left. And that was an interesting time in August where the front page of the New Britain Herald read that he was threatening to leave, and then an emotional outpouring from his players. They marched down to City Hall to Mayor Lucian Pollock and asked that, Cochran be granted his wishes and stay. That, for a guy that disciplines so much and so intense, and I've been to practice, and it's an intense practice. He's not high on compliments. It's interesting that they would go march to City Hall and really push for him to stay. These just pretty much proves what competitors these Hurricanes players are, as Roberts nails the extra point.
Well, absolutely it does improve the type of players, but that's how Jack is. When you're a good coach and you have a winning program, you have players that want to play for you. They know it's tough. He's got the recipe to win. They know that, and they buy into it, and they're going to keep their coach. As is when when he was at Bloomfield, he was thinking about leaving there. His kids didn't want him to leave.
Yep. And
that's wherever he would go. I'm sure some college coaching staffs are taking note. And looking at Jack Corcoran, he's still a relatively young guy. And
hey, look out! Up! Shoot! We've seen look at that, the New Britain cannon, man. I was down at the sidelines. Bang! There it is. You got to watch out. I was down there last game doing a little bit of research for this week, speaking with Athletic Director Len Cordo and Assistant Superintendent of Schools Ron Jakubowski, and they didn't warn me quick enough. I was right by that thing, mid-conversation, touchdown, and
knowing Lenny Cordo, he probably set you up.
Lenny said, "Come on, stand over here, stand over here, Brochu," and bang. As we saw the replay, that thing, you got to watch out. Very explosive offense for the Hurricanes. Has an explosive celebration with that cannon down at the goal line.
Yeah. I got to tell you, Jack Corcoran, being the type of coach he is, I really hope that administration in New Britain will really get behind him. I've heard from administrators that Jack doesn't do enough academically for his players. All I can say is he's got a lot of former players playing D1 football, and you can't get there unless you have the academics. I have a son that's there now, and I know that for a fact. So I really hope that the administrators will stick behind Jack, stay behind him. The kids love him. He has a winning program. And
certainly has toughened up his players. For a guy that wears a T-shirt that reads "Pain is weakness exiting the body. That's the t-shirt he wears on the sidelines, and he has no time at all for excuses, no time for injuries. He has time for winners, and that's it. And, you know, like him or not, yes, he's controversial, but he's lost 2 games since he's been here.
Absolutely.
And he knows how to win football games.
And he knows how to endear himself to his players, like you said. You know, he gets his hair cut at the local barbershop where all of his players get their hair cut at. I know, I've seen him there.
They pitch to Sheets. Sheets will lose yardage again. He's stopped by Andrew Jackson. Boy, I mean, they are just swallowing him up right now to the point where it's not even little gains. It's not even, well, he rushed for 2. He only got 3 on that play. He's losing consistently 2, 3, 4 yards on every carry.
Absolutely. You know, New Britain's defense and their game plan defensively has been outstanding. They have, you know, packed the line, forced him. They have the speed to contain him, to get to the outside. He hasn't been able to get to the outside to use that track speed that he has. And that says a lot for New Britain's game plan, as well as their players show that they have the ability to be able to contain a guy like that.
Look at Jack right now, and you say he doesn't. Look at him carrying off on the field. An injured Hurricane player throws him right on his back, maybe sending a message. Jump on my back, fellas, and we could do some great things this year. Maybe even win a state championship.
State championship, here we come. That's Jack Corcoran.
And Chris, oh, pardon me.
He knows how to play the crowd. He knows what to do. He knows how to endear himself to his players.
I gave the wrong credit to the tackler on that play. It was Chris Roberts, the kicker, who gets a tackle. It's a pretty successful day for him. He's nailed just about every extra point, and he even got a tackle. And by the way, a successful day, I should mention, for his twin brother, Derek Roberts, who almost threw a no-hitter against Newington in New Britain Fall baseball today. And I'm a little partial, I admit, because I happen to coach Derek. There's some around the city that think that the New Britain High baseball team is a state championship caliber team. New Britain High football team certainly won, and the basketball programs here, both boys and girls, are thought to have, you know, state champion caliber teams. So this could be a special time in the city of New Britain, and for the athletic teams here at New Britain High. Maybe are we seeing the tone being set for that with a 48-0 lead right now in the biggest game, the biggest regular season game of the year in all, not just New Britain High football, but a 48-0 over their arch rivals.
Well, in Central Connecticut, if you asked anybody, they'll tell you a lot of the better athletes are coming out of New Britain right now. And right now, look at all of the teams. They have great coaches. Stan Glowyak with the basketball team is outstanding, has been for years. And of course, now with Jack Corcoran here and everything, and their other programs just been exemplary. And this is Central Connecticut football in the middle of the state, and with Jack Corcoran being here now, I guess they have all of the pieces to the pie for New Britain Public Schools.
Martin Manson's last pass was incomplete, bringing up a 4th and 17. So once again, the Bloomfield offense 0 for the night on 3rd down conversions.
I'll tell you that they have just totally shut down the Warhawks offense. They shut down Sheets, and I guess other coaches throughout the state are taking note of what from the game plan that Corcoran's had. So when they have to face Bloomfield, I'm sure they're going to try to do the same thing. Shut down Sheets, make Manson beat you, make Bobby Gibson find somebody, anybody that just wants to step up and help Sheets out. Give him some little help.
Corey Sheets has been the go-to guy. Although if you're coaching a game which your team is losing 48-0, do you just eliminate your best weapon and go to Martin Manson, or do you keep giving the ball to Sheets? He's clearly struggling. He dropped the pitch today. As going on the outside, meanwhile, on the offense, New Britain, a stiff arm from Mike McLeod, and he scores his 3rd touchdown of the night on the handoff. Mike McLeod providing that depth at that running back position. What depth these Hurricanes have. That's his 3rd touchdown of the night. And of course, and he's the backup running back. The backup running back has 3 touchdowns tonight. these guys can run the ball, can the Hurricanes? And it's 54-0.
They can do a lot. As a matter of fact, on that play, he turned the corner, showed his speed. You know, he was face-to-face with Corey Sheets, gave him a stiff arm, went right by him. Ooh, I hope Randy S. is taking notice. There's a few other backs down in this area.
Well, you know, you have to think, even though this has been a negative experience for Corey Sheets, that as Roberts kicks this one up through the uprights for the extra point and a 55-0 New Britain lead, that this has got to be, you look for the positives, and he's going to be playing big games in the next 4 years, big rivalry games. As the Boston College-UConn rivalry develops, this experience tonight has got to be something he can take into UConn, knowing that, you know, sometimes you don't perform in big games, and, you know, really think about what you need to do to perform in those big games. So, you know, perhaps as we take a look at the touchdown from McLeod, who just clearly had the help of his offensive line. Just what a hole to run through right there.
Absolutely. Well, you have days like this. You know, as a running back, some days, you know, your offensive line. And right now the Warhawks offensive line isn't, but New Britain's is. As you can see with this run right here, he's face to face with
Sheets.
With Sheets.
Well, what a tough day for him. What a tough day for Sheets. You get stiff-armed. You're the last person in the secondary, and again, what we were speaking of. He goes to UConn next year and has this experience, not a positive one, but it's an experience nonetheless. Sometimes you have to learn to lose before you can learn to win.
Absolutely. And, you know, he'll have a little bit of better offensive line to run behind, and a little bit more time to focus on football, too.
Mm-hmm.
But you have days like this. He's the type of kid, after seeing him this week, he's the type of kid that won't let this keep him down. He's a very calm, very unassuming. He wants to be a team player, just an average player, even though he's not. This is how he wants to be. So I don't think this is going to be too big of a shock to him dealing with this type of a game. And he'll run and he'll have some other games like this.
Week, Randy Luke was asked about some comments that Corey Sheets have made on their local hip-hop station, as they've been covering this. And Sheets had, you know, as expected with, you know, 17 and 18-year-old kids that are gearing up for big games, some words that didn't sit well with the Hurricanes, and they've got to be silently smiling right now about shutting him down. Though it's the rivalry has certainly been great, although not much of one today. As Sheets picks the ball up in the end zone for the touchback, lets it go, but certainly while it's exciting around Central Connecticut high school football, it's just great that these two programs play, because they are two of the dominant programs. Number 2 in the state is the Hurricanes. Number 8 in the state is Bloomfield. So lots of no lack of love lots of lack of love for these two teams, but certainly it's fun for the fans, it's fun for the people around town, and it's a good experience for those going to Division I college football. There's always natural rivalries. Wherever you are in Division I, there's always natural rivalries. These have to, you know, even in a 55-0 loss, whether you're on the positive side of it or the negative side of it, it's got to be a learning experience nonetheless that they can take into their Division I careers.
Absolutely. You know, again, this is great for the state of Connecticut. You know, if you look at some of the other states, especially southern states.
Oh, Manson going long. Wide open down there was the wide receiver, Tyler Anderson, the junior. But unfortunately for him, Manson put a little bit too much mustard on it and airmailed him.
Well, I saw Manson this week. He's got a nice arm. He's a small kid. He's got a nice arm. You know, he's not getting the kind of time that Maisto's getting today, but he shows that he's got some abilities.
Is that a case of overthrowing a wide open wide receiver?
You know, at this point, you know, you're trying to make a play. Again, this still is fitting in the Corcoran's plan. Make Manson beat you. They never thought they would have to be throwing this much. You know, especially at this point in the game. But as you can see, competing that pass
to his cousin. They've been doing it since backyard football at Grandma's house. Calvin Manson grabs that one. A dangerous pass, however, as that was feathered over Andrew Jackson, the president. We love referring to him. He almost picked that one off.
Absolutely. You get too close to him, it'll be going the other way. As you can see, that play in particular was one of the ones that I saw this week in practice. They worked on that little out play, just throwing a little quick out and give it to the receivers and let them run with it. At this point, you almost want to put Sheets out there, and I saw them do this in practice. Throw him the ball on the outside, put him in a one-on-one position.
Manson's going to run it up to the 40. He is dragged down. Nice tackle there by New Britain's Nate Daniel, who was actually behind the scrambling and rushing Martin Manson, and threw him down with the left arm with 58 seconds left in the third quarter.
Bobby Gibson's trying to get on the board, trying to set things up for their next games, their coming games. You know, you say we didn't have a good game, but we did score. We did do this. We did have a drive.
At this point, as a coach, are you just playing to get on the board, down 55-0? Obviously, you don't want to get shut out to your arch rival. That certainly would be more embarrassing than putting something on the board. But is that all you're playing for at this point, to get points on the board?
No, you're playing for your later games. You're playing to see what some of your players are made of at this point. When you have some tough games or some close games down the road, how are they going to handle it? Are they going to put their head down, or are they going to keep playing? Right now, from what we're seeing, is they're keeping playing. They're doing their best. Right now, they might be a little bit outsized and, maybe a little bit more talent on the other side of the ball, but they haven't quit. I've been looking for that this second half. When you get scored on when you come out the first half, it's easy to get down. Right now, they're not down. They're not holding their heads down. They're really fighting here.
Crowd becoming a little bit more sparse as we take a look from atop Veterans Memorial Stadium out at the parking lot, and it's, well, a parking lot with cars just trying to get out, trying to find an opening to get out of this jam, this parking jam in the parking lot. Sheets at the same time also looking for an opening, and just like the Bloomfield fans looking to get out of New Britain, Sheets can't shake the New Britain defense, and he's dropped for another loss.
Absolutely.
To end the quarter.
You know, we're starting the fourth quarter, and the Hurricane players are holding up their four fingers, saying fourth quarter's ours. One of the things Bobby Gibson, might want to do is, if you're going to go with your best player.
55-0 New Britain. It's a whitewash right now in hard hitting. 1 quarter left. New Britain up by 55. We'll be back after this. You're watching Nutmeg TV's sports presentation of high school football.
You think you're invincible. Being 7 to 10, nothing goes the way that people expect it to go. You don't remember things you're doing. Your body's just worn down. It's physically painful. Once I hit my absolute bottom, I just wanted to die. I see a lot of people now that aren't in the hole as deep as I am, but they're making choices that could take them there one day.
I'm Derek Jeter, and I'd like you to watch this anti-drug message.
Jeter, top play.
Thanks.
If you don't do drugs, you can do great things.
We come back to the play. New Britain has recovered a fumble. It is Stephen Campbell still on his feet to the 10 and inside the 10 on the first play of the fourth quarter. The Hurricanes once again recover a turnover. Turnovers have been such a factor in this one, and all of them have gone away the fourth quarter. They're going to start on their own 9-yard line. They are just taking it to Bloomfield right now.
Absolutely. That was a pass that was tipped and caught in the air and picked off and taken the other way. Right at the end of that play, there was a little altercation with a couple of the players, and Bobby Gibson ran out on the field to grab one of his players, and of course Jack Corcoran was right out there protecting his guy. But it's another turnover for the Warhawks, and boy, they have just really hurt themselves, shot themselves in the foot at every turn today. Did not help themselves. Bobby Gibson's got a lot of work back on the right track, and I'm sure they will.
Well, it's certainly, when it's an ugly game, as it's been for Bloomfield, the last thing you want, you know, Jack Cochran and Bobby Gibson each running on the field to protect their player, the last thing you want to see, I mean, you know, rivalries are great, and, it's certainly, you know, these two teams don't like each other at all.
Yep.
But when it's 55-0 and the game is pretty much out of hand, you hope that the emotions don't get out of hand.
Well, you're absolutely right. And Jack, one of the things he just did, he just put in his substitute, a new group of kids coming in and now, and he just looked at Bobby Gibson as he was coming out to his staff to let him know that he's putting in his younger guys. Okay, so to let him know that, hey, you know, don't start beating up on my younger kids here. You might want to think about putting, you know, your younger guys in so that I don't have to keep my starters in there.
Got to be so exciting as a JV player to be playing in this game. Yes, it's 55-0, but they want to prove something for when they become the varsity stars right now. And I like this move at 11:45 left. And, you know, as you said, it's so important to score points the way this league is set up. Give your JV guys a chance to put the ball in as they're on the 9-yard line. In there now at quarterback for the Hurricanes is Ferguson. Ferguson carries the ball. What do we have on that? Well, that's the problem when you throw in the JV players.
Absolutely.
We don't even know who they are.
You have some different jerseys, some numbers that's not on the program. Absolutely.
Certainly, these fellas out there certainly want us to know who they are, and they want everybody in New Britain to know who they are because they are the future varsity stars. So an opportunity for them. And well, we'll see what they do. We'll learn their nicknames. We'll learn their names when they score.
Absolutely. You know, more importantly, their friends and their parents to know who they are. And that's what's important to them.
Ferguson on the handoff. It's 2nd and 7, 10:57 left. New Britain up 55-0. A 3rd and 6 coming up.
You know, I thought this was a great spot for Jack Cochran to put in his younger guys, giving them an opportunity to score, giving them some success. So by making that move when they're down at that end of the field like that, it's a great thing. He puts them in a position to be successful, to have some success.
Ricky Camacho is in at quarterback for the Hurricanes. They hand the ball off to number 31, Ferguson, trying to take it to the end zone. He's knocked out of bounds right near the goal line, I believe, on the far side. Bringing up a 4th down. And they're pretty close to the goal line, imagine. Jack's going to go for it here and see what his JV players are made of.
Oh, absolutely, he's going for it. Like I said, he put them in at this time in the game, this position on the field, so that to get them some success, and he's doing everything he possibly can to get them some success. But at the same time, you have to remember, they're still going up against some of Bobby Gibson's starters. He doesn't have players in a whole unit like that. So they're still facing their, you know, the Warhawk starters.
4th and 3. Camacho takes the snap, play action, fakes the handoff. Oh, it's dropped. Fumbled at the line, and there will be no touchdown for these JV fellas as they take on Bobby Gibson's varsity squad. The Bloomfield will take over, however, with pretty tough field position if they want to break that goose egg on the board.
Oh.
They're going to be taking over on their own 3-yard line. We'll have to see now what defensive unit comes out for the Hurricanes as we take a look at this fumble. Camacho looked to really stuff it into his running back, maybe a little too hard. Put it off his shoulder pad.
Absolutely, running back never got a hold of it. On that the quarterback, just like he would get on his starters, he's letting him know this is Hurricane football, and this is the way it has to be, and this is what you need to do. He's still coaching. That's Jack Cochran.
Guess they call it, is it killer instinct they call it?
That's exactly what it's called. It's called being able to, when you have somebody wounded, you want to put them away.
Yep.
Make sure they can't come back.
Well, that's what things are looking like here for Bloomfield, trailing 55-0. The band gets a little bit louder, that New Britain High School marching band. I got to give them the love as much as I can, too, as I'm a proud former member, former drummer, as is our terrific sound guy, Ron Palmisano.
Absolutely. It's a great band, well known in these parts for the different things that they do and the excitement they bring to the Britain school system.
playing exactly what Bloomfield is doing right now. They might have just given up 2 points. I'm not sure. The handoff brought the running back into the end zone, and no safety. No safety call, barely, however. They're going to face a 3rd and long from inside their 1-yard line. Boy, this is, sometimes it ain't your night.
Absolutely. Like I say, Corcoran's got some of his younger kids in there on the defense. Not all like he had with the offense, but he's got some of them in there. You see the clean uniforms with a few of them, but Corcoran would love that shutout.
Would you put it past him to blitz right now and really go for the kill? Up 55-0 and go for that safety.
He would tell you, oh, I'm just lining them up. They're doing it on their own. That's what he would tell you. That would be his excuse. But absolutely, he's sending the house.
Control of his team. If there's one man that epitomizes having control of its team, it is one Jack Cochran.
Absolutely.
Bloomfield pushes the ball up to the 8-yard line. As 8:16 is left on the clock, it'll bring up another 4th and long. In the back of his end zone is Corey Sheets to punt. You got to be careful with this snap here.
Absolutely. This could be a touchdown or a safety.
Low snap, Sheets is just going to get it off. Man, it's not a bad kick, actually. To the 35-yard line, Johnny Morales fakes the handoff, stops in the middle of the field, now goes the other way to the 40 and the 30. He's still on his feet. A flag is thrown. He's brought down on the 25-yard line, so he returns it about 15 yards on the kick.
That one is
They bring the ball.
Yeah, a little clip or a block in the back. The Warhawk player that it happened to right away were telling the referees that it happened to me, and of course they caught it.
It's a kicking penalty against New Britain as they sort things out down on the field.
Now it looks like Corcoran's making wholesale changes again.
And again, this is a nice your families come out to the games and they hope something like this happens, and it's always a nice moment for the parents in the stands and the brothers and the sisters and their friends, and of course, these guys to say they took part in the varsity game, albeit up 55-0, but again, they're gonna be varsity players someday. And so this kick, or the flag will be brought. The flag will bring the Hurricanes all the way back to the 42-yard line. But again, things are in pretty good shape for the Hurricanes as they celebrate. A loose ball on the field that I believe might have been recovered by Bloomfield on the handoff. And it is recovered by Bloomfield. A fumble on Camacho, I believe, the quarterback, who just took the snap and left the ball as he went back to execute his play. He forgot the most important thing.
That's what you get when you have JV players. And you can see Jack Corcoran. He's coaching him right now, finding out what's going on, and he's in his face, letting him know that this is not what you're supposed to be doing. That's twice now.
We'll take a look at that fumble by Camacho on the replay here. Let's see. Yep, he just.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he didn't. He put it on the side of the hip of the running back instead of in his stomach, and that's what Jack, I'm sure, was talking about.
It's 55-0, 7:38 left. Back to pass. Manson dropped. Actually, is that a new quarterback in there? Indeed it is. Carl Randolph throwing the pigskin right now. The freshman, a freshman in the game right now for Bloomfield. Put a pass where he wanted it, but it just simply got dropped. So good poise by the freshman.
It's nice, as you said, to get some time in here. No matter what side of the ball you're on, as a younger player, you want to get out there in the stadium this size with the fans, the lights on a Saturday night. It's an exciting time for everybody.
We're glad we could bring it to you on Nutmeg TV. We'd like to thank our producer, Brian Kutzner, doing a terrific job in the truck tonight. Our director, Paul Fiedler, technical director, Sarah Marino. Our engineer is also Paul Fiedler. Thanks to him. Our tech advisor, Dwayne Cody. On audio, the man who made up chant for the New Britain High School Golden Hurricane Marching Band, I won't say when, but the chant for the saxophone section in 1955, just kidding. Ron Palmas, 75, just kidding, Ron. Ron Palmisano doing a great job on audio. And our tape operator, this one, you know, you talk about going over game plans. We really went over the game plan. They came up and they said, we really, really want to nail this name. So here I go, Regina Mastrogiacomo, our tape operator. I nailed that one, Coach. Do I get to start next week? Do I get to start next week, Coach? And our game replay operator, Don Riley, our cameraman, Don Riley, also on camera, Ken Hickory, and also on camera 5, our general manager, Joni McCauley, and along with Robin Anderson, Randy Brochu. Robin, it's been a lot of fun tonight working with you. We just met before the game, and you know, you talk about having game plans. We had no game plan going into this, you and I did, but you know, when you work with a great coach such as yourself, see, I was out before I came, and I came in as just a goofy freshman player, and I'm lucky I'm not running laps tonight with the coach.
Well, that's why you have assistants and higher ups. Our other guys there make us look good, and I like to say thank you to them. It's been a pleasure here doing this tonight. I love being a part of Connecticut high school football.
And what better place than Veterans Memorial Stadium? Just a gorgeous high school football venue.
Absolutely, one of the best in the state, I got to tell you. 8 football games here. They have they've had the Connecticut-Rhode Island football game here. They've had a few other teams play here. This is a great venue.
Now Rashawn Asbury at this great venue takes the pitch. Doesn't get much. It's going to bring up a 4th and 12. You know, I don't quote me on this, and that's in quotes of everything, but I don't believe Bloomfield's cracked midfield yet. And,
you could be right.
Talked to a few of the coaches up here in the press box. They hadn't by halftime, so unless they did today, Bloomfield, who kept Hartford Public, a much weaker Hartford Public team than themselves, behind of what they did to Hartford last week from these New Britain Hurricanes. They haven't cracked midfield. And the kick up by Sheets as he punts to the 30-yard line. Jackson looked like a fair catch, but he just brought it up past the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Andrew Jackson still in there.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, one of the things you do is you have on your special teams, because you don't have enough time to have a second team with special teams. Many times your first teamers will be out there for the special teams the entire game, and this is one example of it with the Hurricanes. They have their special teamers almost blocked the punt, and then got a decent run back, of course.
Andrew Jackson has been solid. You know, Andrew Jackson, of course, is the one on the $20 bill. Well, this Andrew Jackson's pretty much been money tonight also. We're doing it on both sides, on special teams, on offense, on defense, rushing the quarterback as Camacho hands off, and the Hurricanes get maybe a yard. 5:40 is certainly, you know, he might not have the stats that McLeod has had tonight and Randy Luke, but he has been a great part of this victory.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of different parts of the team that you need, and Jack Cochran's had a few parts tonight to go with, and that's why he has this kind of a lead right now. I noticed Jack Cochran has the quarterback come into the sideline, giving him the play. They just had that handoff, which is a good one, after fumbling it twice and having to face Cochran. You better not make any more mistakes.
Well, it's certainly an opportunity, and a lot of times, you know, a JV player certainly doesn't play in front of these kind of crowds. Flag, I believe we may have a delay of game. A delay of game, so.
Give that one to the coach. He called the quarterback to the sideline. He took the time, so.
Camacho's Hurricanes will be brought back to the 38-yard line. Do you go to the running game now and just try to run it out?
Oh, absolutely.
You want to send a message, I'd imagine, by shutting this team out, giving them as small opportunities as possible, or as less opportunities as possible to get that score on the board.
Well, you don't have to worry. Even if it's a turnover here, you know your defense is going to be back out. And Jack, on his defense, hasn't made wholesale changes. He's still got some of his starters in there on the defense, and he knows that he can still shut them down. So he's not too concerned right now at all.
Trying to send a message. He's got his starters in on defense. He clearly wants the shutout. It's certainly a message sent if he keeps one of the most a team that scored 72 points last season completely off the board. And the running back that got 108 yards on and 3 touchdowns on 5 carries, if they hold him to negative yards, which is going to be the case tonight. He came into halftime with a loss of 30 yards, in the negative, and he would still be there after a couple losses in the second half on pitches.
Well, after this game and the rest of this week, knowing Jack Cochran, he's going to use that. He's going to say, hey, you held a Division I running back to negative yards. You shut him out. You know, we can do this with anybody.
It's certainly a statement made also by the New Britain running backs, McLeod, and of course Randy Luke also scoring a slew of touchdowns. McLeod has 3, I believe Luke has 3, and all the talk, of course, has been centered around Corey Sheets on going into tonight. He's the UConn recruit. He's one of 6 in-state UConn recruits, but these guys saying we can run the ball also.
Absolutely. They're letting everybody know there's some running backs in the city of New Britain. It was just a late hit out of bounds. You get that when you get some of the younger, excited players out there. And so it's going to be an additional 15 yards tacked onto this after the run.
4:14 left in New Britain. 55-0 New Britain. Randy Brochu and Robin Anderson, glad you could join us today for Nutmeg Television Sports' presentation. Boy, was that. I fumbled. Fumble on the play. Fumble on the play-by-play announcer. Let's say it together. Presentation. That's better.
It's been a pleasure, Randy, doing this with you, I got to tell you.
Certainly.
You know.
Certainly has been. It helps to have a great coach also calling the plays for me, too.
Well, it depends on who you're asking.
Coach at Avon Old Farms, and a good coach can make the performer look better. I think that's been the case tonight. It's been a pleasure. Ball was on the 50. New Britain gets about a yard. Less than 4 minutes left. 3rd and 20. So this will be the another third and very long. It's been the case tonight. Not really so much for the Hurricanes, though. This is uncharted territory for New Britain. That's going to be 3rd and 10 now.
Let's see if these.
They got a first down. No, it's a first down. Excuse me.
The JV unit, they're keeping it on the ground.
Well, they get about 5 yards there. This JV guy's saying, "Look at me, coach." That one was carried by Brian Ferguson. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 185-pound running back. Plays the corner also on defense. I guess he does it for your friend and mine, Ted Morris, Bosco, who's been coaching here at New Britain High School for over 20 years.
Absolutely, over 23 years.
That's a very successful JV coach. I had the pleasure to work with him this summer, and he told me in his humble way that he can't remember the last time a team of his lost a game.
Coaches seem to have those kind of memories.
Brian Ferguson will get another first down for New Britain as he takes it over the 30-yard line to the 25. So these JV guys are sending a message, and you always have to root for the junior varsity player.
You do. You get this time on a big stage like this. They feel good. You feel good. It's nice to get a chance to see them.
And they're going to go for a TD. They want the TD too. I mean, winning in the 60s is different than winning in the 50s as we take a look at this run by Ferguson. Got a good block there. And a very nice block, actually, by Mark Garcia. Also a sophomore, a 6-foot defensive end and running back in there to block.
Well, I got to tell you, as you look at these younger kids coming up, as I said before, there's no substitute for speed, and they have some speed down there at the JV level. Bosco must be smiling.
Now under 2 minutes. No 2-minute drill necessary right now. The Hurricanes content to just take as much time off the clock as they can as they celebrate. And they begin the celebration here in New Britain. 1:40 left. New Britain 55, pitching a shutout right now against an explosive Bloomfield offense that scored 72 points last game. Running the ball is once again Brian Ferguson. He gets a little bit of a gain. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 with 1:20 left. And I can tell you, as an old member of the New Britain High Marching Band, Mr. Chuck Lund can't wait to play Na 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 Goodbye. Hey Hey Goodbye. He gets up in front of the band, and he's like a football coach too. These guys, the New Britain High Band play. They come to play too. They bring their A game for when they get real behind the big games.
Oh, absolutely.
And, he loves it. His face gets all ready. He goes, na 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 na, play it. Or else you run a demerit. He's the Jack Cochran of marching bands.
Oh boy.
40 seconds left. Maybe time for one last play, and that'll do it. The celebration begins on the New Britain sideline, as well it should. What a convincing victory for the New Britain Hurricanes tonight, as they send a message to Bloomfield, the state, and maybe even themselves as they look to rebound from that 19-point loss to Greenwich last year in the semifinals. They see 55-0, 10 seconds left. They line up, and that'll just about do it.
Jack Cochran was just being mobbed by his players on the sideline. That's how they feel about him. He doesn't care about anything on the outside. It's his world down there, and right now he's living large in his world.
Well, they call it hard-hit New Britain, they do, here in the Hardware City, and nobody hit harder than the New Britain defense tonight. Again, keeping an explosive Bloomfield offense behind midfield all game. New Britain has shut out Bloomfield 55-0 at Veterans Memorial tonight at Willowbrook Park. And again, a message sent to the rest of the state. Look out for the number 2 Hurricanes.
Absolutely. That's Jack Cochran football. Right now, Bobby Gibson's got to regroup with the Warhawks, but it's going to be a good time in the city of New Britain.
Certainly will tonight. Stay tuned for the post game. We're going to wrap it up right now from Veterans and Beef's game interview. I'm sure he wants to talk. He's got a lot to say, a lot to talk positive about, as his New Britain Hurricanes just defeated arch rival Bloomfield 55-0. Stay tuned for the post game.
Hey, you told me to call? So can I stay for another hour or so? 11. Okay, Mom.
Let your kids be who they are, but know what they're doing.
See you later, Mom. Anna and Kyle.
And you left the phone number?
Yes.
Be back before 11.
Let your kids be who they are, but know what they're doing.
Welcome back to the post-game show. A successful night for Jack Cochran, proud dad, Casey here, and proud coach tonight. Jack, 55-0. You knew that it was against an explosive offensive team that scored 72 points last week.
To be honest with you, the way we played defense this week in practice, I thought we had a great shot at doing it. The kids executed a game plan. We took sheets away early. We forced the quarterback to throw the ball, and we were able to get to him quick, get some hits on him. We rattled him a little bit, and I had a good feeling about tonight's game.
Coach, did you feel that by shutting down Sheets, stacking the line with 8 guys and forcing Manson to beat you, that they couldn't beat you?
They couldn't. No. We have a lot of experience in the secondary. We got 3 guys with 3-year starters back there, and we were able to bracket Manson, double team him. We were able to force the quarterback to make bad decisions with the ball, and we were able to get to him with our defensive ends early.
Jack, last year you said that it came down to conditioning, which you thought was the X factor, a 55-0 win as opposed to a 42. Come down to conditioning, and if so, what kind of message does this send to the rest of the state?
Conditioning, definitely. That's always going to be our trademark. We work on it all year round. We run all the time, and we're always going to be in shape. That's one thing that you have control over. You know, you can't control height, weight, speed, those type, but you can control being in shape, and we're always going to be in great shape if you're going to play for New Britain.
Proud of Dad tonight?
Yep.
All right. A lot of people in New Britain are. The Hurricanes 55, Bloomfield nothing of Connecticut High School football. Thanks for joining us.